6:04 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. JP producing. Where are we at this morning? 74 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. What we got? College football in town this weekend. What we got? High school football is back. What we got? Saints? Take it or leave it. All right. Big show today. Ready to roll. We're football heavy today, y'all. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going to the third hour of the show. Programming note, had a little scheduling conflict. We will not have a Foodie Friday today. We will instead prep for LSU versus Louisiana Tech. Hanagriff's going to join us at 8:35 instead of a Foodie Friday. Maybe we can ask Hanny how he likes to prepare his steak. That's what we can do there. We'll talk high school football with Ken Trahan. We'll talk LSU with Charles Hanagriff. Patty G's in the house coming up in our next hour. Walt Leger from New Orleans and Company coming up next hour. We got Lake Urgent Care later this hour. We are rocking and rolling. In fact, let's do exactly that. Top stories and trending. Oh, no.
Number 5.
Port Allen High School is incorporating new safety guidelines ahead of the Sugar Cane Classic this evening. Those guidelines include a clear bag policy, no re-entry into the stadium. West Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office will have extra deputies on hand, as well as a mobile command station. Now, these guidelines are being implemented 2 years after a shooting at a Port Allen High School football game resulted in the death of a 16-year-old girl.
Number 4.
I'm sorry, 16-year-old. It didn't say 16-year-old girl, where I got girl from. Hundreds of people from Smitty's Supply Company are looking for work after being laid off in the wake of the plant explosion in Tangipahoa Parish. Many of those employees were at a career fair in Hammond yesterday as agencies around the state are teaming up to help them. But if you're thinking the folks at Smitty's set up the job fair, think again. The Department of Public Safety and Corrections Division of Probation and Parole, they said the event was originally a second chance job and resource fair and just let the Smitty's folks tag along.
Number 3.
Nancy Landry announced the preliminary results of an ongoing investigation into non-citizens on Louisiana's voters' rolls. What did they find? Well, so far, 390 non-citizens registered to vote in Louisiana. Secretary Landry said of those, at least 79 have voted in at least one election.
Number 2.
Louisiana's Judiciary Commission yesterday recommended to the state Supreme Court that East Baton Rouge Parish Judge Tiffany Foxworth Roberts be removed from the bench for telling lies and misleading police investigators. The panel considered whether the judge lied in her campaign advertising, also misled state investigators. Members of the panel said she lacked credibility, tried to deceive those looking into her actions. The Louisiana Supreme Court will ultimately decide on the penalty.
Number 1.
Well, Gabrielle is almost a certainty at this point, y'all. We've got that system that's out in the Atlantic. It's a broad area of low pressure over the eastern tropical Atlantic associated with a tropical wave. It's producing a concentrated but disorganized area of showers and thunderstorms, mainly to the north of the center. Now, environmental conditions are favorable for development of the system, and a tropical depression is likely to form probably by, if not the end of today, sometime early tomorrow. It will be Gabrielle, and we will be keeping a close eye on this one because while every storm thus far has steered up into the Atlantic, Tim Temple told me, when was he on, Wednesday or Tuesday? He was on Wednesday?
Must have been.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
He told me on Wednesday, he's like, you need to stop taunting Mother Nature. I was like, you know what, sir? You're probably right.
Maybe right.
What's trending?
Shoo. Well, RFK Jr.'s visit with the Senate yesterday got heated.
Yeah.
There's that.
Did you watch any of that?
Man, I was getting, my feed was filled with it on Instagram. I mean, reel after reel of
It's
just like
inescapable.
clips. Yeah, I was like, wow.
And then they had the one senator, I forget his name, but the one senator had the gravelly voice, and I'm like, is he trying to do an RFK?
Right. Yeah.
I'm like,
Are
dude,
you
what?
mocking? Are you mocking?
Are you mocking him right now?
Yeah.
All legitimate questions, by the way.
Yeah.
I wish they could keep it to just questions, though. I really wish senators would not like. There's way too much grandstanding, way too much of Adam Sandler and The Wedding Singer. I've got a microphone, so you're gonna listen to every word I have to say.
Oh man!
Just ask what you have questions of him. Ask them. Let him answer.
I think that's what the people want, right? That's all we want.
I know, but it's not what the egos want.
Ah, that's right. Hey.
Cheers.
Yeah. In other news, President Trump is expected to announce today that the Department of Defense is going back to being called the Department of War. Let's take it in.
Okay. Yeah, that'll solve all your problems.
Yeah. It's like, no,
Right.
we're serious now. It's the
Okay.
Department of War.
All right. Now this is going to solve as many American problems as renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
I know. Hey, but speaking of the Gulf, we got a shark alligator rule story to close
And
out.
the Gulf, Gulf isn't in this one, but yeah.
But still, water in general, right?
Yeah.
The great white sightings continue after a 16 to 17 foot great white was spotted near California last week. This time it's a bit smaller, at 11 feet or so, but a great white was filmed off Massachusetts coast yesterday.
Really long film, by the way, and
Yeah.
I saw the video. Dude, did you see the one in California? It's like, I want to say it was Northern California last week. It's 16 to 17
man.
foot, and it was every bit of it.
Oof.
It was every bit of it.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Watched a video the other day. A woman was about to dive off a boat, and there was just a great white just chilling, coming up.
You know what's trending
Terrifying.
today? That $1 million yacht that sank the minute they put it in the water. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
Man, and
How did I
the number of
miss this?
people who are just like, ha ha, serves you right. You lost your $1 million yacht.
No.
I know.
Oh. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Somebody lost $1 million in the water,
Ooh.
and people are like mocking them
Just
because
15 minutes into the maiden voyage.
yeah, rich people toys.
Yeah, but that's still nothing to
No, I
be
know.
excited about.
No, I
mean,
know,
come on.
but like,
But it's so crazy. The
putting
things
someone
we-
else down doesn't make you taller.
Right. That's right. That's right. Oh man, the things we cheer for.
Wow. It's 6:11 at Talk 107.3 FM. About to roll over to 6:12. We got just a minute before break. In that minute, want to remind you about the folks over at Vex European. VexEuropean.com is the website. If you drive a European vehicle, you need yourself a little Vexpertise. I drive an 18-year-old. It's now an 18-year-old Mercedes-Benz. I drive a car that's old enough to vote. How is that thing still humming? Vex European. They have a technician who is master level tech in Mercedes. They've got the same for BMW, the same for Jaguar. They've got the same for Audi, Land Rover. In fact, if you visit VexEuropean.com, hit the little drop-down tab where it says vehicles. If you see yours, book an appointment. Even if nothing's wrong, book an appointment for your next oil change. Get to know Vinny and his team. Let them know a little bit about, or let them learn about your car. Your tech will follow your car the same way your chart follows you when you go to see your doctor. Learn more at VexEuropean.com. Ah! Caught it! Ah! What's up, glorified crew? I had at some point I'm going to tell you all about a great conversation I had yesterday. Don't know when. I was so flippin' tired, and I went to just like lay down and take a little nap.
Yeah.
Like I got home a little early. I had some time before carpool. I'm like, I'm gonna take a little nap, and then the phone rings. Every day, like it's like the rest of the world thinks that 2:00 is daytime.
Right, I know.
All right, what are we doing?
Yeah.
It's nap time, people.
Man.
Assholes. Mischievous and deceitful. Chicanerous and deplorable. I don't know why that stuck in my head this morning.
What is that from again?
A Key and Peele. That's the substitute teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Chicanerous and deplorable. It just got stuck in my head with the damn Senate questions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Hey, does anybody get a hard copy of the paper? And was I in it yesterday?
Why would you have made the paper?
I think from the Letlow announcement, but I was told I was on the front page of the paper yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like me? I was on the front page, or like the story that I was connected to? Like, I'm not news.
Maybe. Just might be true.
Anyway, if you go to theadvocate.com right now, the picture that's on the homepage, front and center, is Mayor President Sid Edwards. And the story is about the Thrive Plan. But I swear, like, the picture with nothing else, like, with no context, he's wearing sunglasses. He's outside, he's wearing sunglasses and a suit, and he's about to grab a microphone, and he looks like a white guy who's about to try and rap poorly.
Love it.
I forgot to get you cuts for LSU. We'll do that in the next segment. Want to see you whip it? Show me that you're right. Give me just a minute. What?
I was listening to this on the way in this morning. I'm like,
It's awesome. You know, if we could replace today's show with the Best of the Gap Band, I'm there.
So good.
All morning long.
Mm.
So let it whip. Keep it going. Talk 107.3 is your new home for Ken Trahan's original prep football report. Get live in-game updates, a full statewide school board. School board? Check. How about scoreboard? Check-ins with correspondents from every corner of the state and more. Friday nights this fall from 6 to 11 p.m. All starts tonight on Talk 107.3 FM. And bonus, Ken Trahan joins us at 8:15 to give us a preview of the prep preview. Actually, prep preview is Cade Wassan, 6 p.m. over on 104.5. But we'll get to know Ken a little bit because he's going to be with us every Friday evening. This is it's a 5-hour-long show, y'all. If you want to be dialed in on the Friday Night Lights, if you want to know what's going on in and around the state on a high school football front, we're going to be the place to be. Love it. Can't wait to talk to Ken at 8:15. Pick his brain about what's hot in because he's based out of New Orleans, right? But we're going to be all over. Like, Catholic High Football will be on our sister station 104.5. But what's going on around the capital area? He's the guy for it, for sure. Cannot wait. Might have to ask a little bit about my St. Paul's Wolves, too. Sports time? All right. The Saints are at it on Sunday. Veteran cornerback Alontae Taylor limited in practice yesterday due to a lingering groin injury that has kept him out all summer long, but he was out there yesterday. Taylor says he's doing everything he can to play in the opener, but doesn't want to rush it if he's not 100%.
Don't want to get out there too early. Got a long season. Definitely want to play, though. Definitely want to be with the guys and go out there and prove it. I've just been very intentional, making sure I'm doing the right things and pushing my body when I need to push it and letting the trainers know that I can go a little bit more if I can.
When I say he was out there, that's because Chase Young, Trevor Penning were not seen at yesterday's practice. Getting that from LouisianaSports.net. And if you're not at Thursday's practice, you're probably not playing. Poor time for the Saints to come down with some injuries, especially from key players like Chase Young. The Saints open up their season, like we said, against a very talented Arizona Cardinals defense. Second-year quarterback Spencer Rattler is going to play his first game under the Kellen Moore system, but not his first game as an NFL quarterback. Doug Nussmeier, offensive coordinator, says Rattler needs to just go out there and be Spencer Rattler.
He doesn't need to do anything than what he's done since we got here. And that's be process driven, prepare the way that we've prepared every day since we got here, and just go be you. Let the offense work for you. You don't have to be the offense. Let the offense work for you and do your job.
Kickoff noon Sunday on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Of course, the countdown to kickoff will begin well before that, but that is when the Saints begin their NFL season. The Kellen Moore era officially underway. We're at 620 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Take a quick break. When we come back, talk a little LSU football, talk a little just Southern Jaguars as well. Both will be at home this weekend. Pretty decent start to your Friday morning on the Interstates. 12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs. You got your normal volume around Range Avenue. After that, it's smooth sailing all the way through to the 10-12 merge. Same thing on 10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish. We are just easy sailing out there. Hopefully we can keep it that way. 10 westbound making your way through the city looks good. 10 eastbound coming back from West Baton Rouge, wide open there, as is I-110. On your surface streets, there is absolutely nothing going on. There are 0 accidents to report. Let's keep it that way. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Muso's folder from they're both in Adobe now. Yeah, I dragged them over. Yeah. 624, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Man, we're gonna talk LSU football in just a second. Do need to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, and there is nothing like traveling to see the most highly anticipated college football matchups around. BTR has nonstop round-trip flights to game day. Whether you want to catch the Tigers taking on Vanderbilt, Alabama, or Oklahoma, BTR can get you there. Want to talk about your nonstop flights to away games. Yeah, the Commodores, the Crimson Tide, the Sooners. They've also got you bringing in folks for games as well, but concentrating on getting out of town. There are flights to Nashville, Birmingham, and I believe it's Oklahoma City. You want to go to flybtr.com to get the latest. Flybtr.com for all the details. And man, it is football time, and it's in full swing right now, and it could not be more awesome. LSU going to take on Louisiana Tech tomorrow. No, there's no direct flight to Ruston. What was that, Ruston International Airport? Is it Terry Bradshaw International? Is that what they call the airport? I don't know. I'm just making things up at this point. Louisiana Tech going to be in town tomorrow to take on LSU. 6:30 is your game time. I believe 6:32 will be the exact kickoff. Over on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, game day begins at 1:30 p.m. 4:30, that's when the network's going to pick it up, and 6:30 will be your kickoff. Talking about last week's game, I want to take you back to Tuesday when Brian Kelly met with the media, as he does for every game week. Back on Tuesday, because we had Labor Day, Brian Kelly talked about establishing the run versus Clemson, and basically, is the run game back? I mean, we've had a couple of, I don't want to say full-on down years, but they kind of have been, haven't they? Is the run game back?
I think it's been pretty obvious that there's been an emphasis in making sure that we run the ball and become more balanced to set up play action. Some of our best plays were the play action throws. So to do that, when you're in a spread offense, you have to be creative. You know, you're moving receivers and tight ends around. Your run game can feature, wide receivers in it as well. They're blocking, running. So I think just keeping that same mindset, really, moving forward, that we have to continue to be that way and find the areas where we can prod and get the best looks to run the football.
Okay. I mean, we had 108 on the ground last week. Nussmeier, talk about this play-action plays, and if there's any RPO action as well. Nussmeier makes it believable because he got himself in a few runs. One was a quarterback sneak, but, if your quarterback is willing to take off, your defense has to stay honest. So that's a good thing. One of the ongoing – this is going to be a Monday morning quarterback thing all season long. LSU has far too much talent and far too many weapons in the arsenal when it comes to who's out wide, who's catching footballs. Out wide, Aaron Anderson led the way last week. Where was Chris Hilton Jr., right? Next week or this week, it might be the exact opposite, where someone says, where is Nick Anderson? Or where, you fill in the blank with whichever receiver doesn't get close to 100 yards, their name's going to come up as a question. One of the things that I'm loving is it doesn't have to be a wideout. Our tight end is a freak show. Trahan Green is ridiculous. Brian Kelly commented on that as well.
You get generational talents, right, throughout your career, but you don't get generational talents in kids that you love like that. He's so into his teammates and what they do and how they do it. He's selfless, and he's still learning. What I love is his willingness to stick his nose in there and get dirty in the run game, and he did a really good job there. The second thing is he's still working on his technique. So his technical ability is not just going to be run down the field and jump up and get the ball. That's not Trahan Green's final piece of what he looks like. There's many more intricacies in running option routes and comebacks and things of that nature that we are excited to continue to work with him and grow. So we're just scratching the surface, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, it is. Looking forward to that picking up tomorrow. And like I said, every single week, there's just not enough balls to go around. Every single week, there's going to be a question. Someone's going to call the post-game show, asking what happened to so-and-so tonight. Fill in the blank. Whoever doesn't get 100 or close to 100 yards receiving that night is going to be, well, where was he? Well, there's only so many downs, only so many plays. As for Louisiana Tech, they're coming off of a win last week as well, albeit it was against Southeastern. They beat Southeastern 24-0. Not a whole lot to report on this game. Louisiana Tech's head coach Sonny Cumbie was on with Matt Moscona yesterday, I believe it was. Yeah, it was yesterday afternoon. That audio is available on demand at 1045ESPN.com if you wanted to go check it out. But you'll get a much better breakdown through our sports guys on the opponent because, they could spend the whole week on that. Meanwhile, LSU is not the only Baton Rouge team playing in Baton Rouge this week. Southern University, 1-1 on the season, is welcoming in Alabama State. That game will kick off at 6 p.m. As Southern is growing under new head coach Terrence Graves. So Jaguars and Tigers both in action this weekend in Baton Rouge. Should be a fun time. We have got, man, I'm looking at the clock right now. I don't have enough time to start the next thing. Okay. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you're going to hear news, traffic, and weather. One of the things you're going to hear about in news was one of our top stories in trending, and that's about non-citizens voting. Nancy Landry held a press conference yesterday. We'll have a little bit of sound from that, but we'll piggyback off of that in just a little bit. Right now, also, don't forget later on this hour, Lake Urgent Care at 6:52. We're talking about occupational health. But for right now, we're going to get you to ABC News to start things off. I'm sure, no doubt, we'll be talking a little bit more about RFK's kindly little visit to the Senate yesterday, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Okay, I don't know when occupational health was, so I need you to just go to my folder overall and search Lake Urgent Care. Yeah. No, it's you save every interview that we do. Somewhere we did one on occupational health. So go to like 2025 and just look up Lake Urgent Care. Mm-mm. And good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart. On occupational health? Okay. Perfect. Oh. Shoot. I got logged out of the ABC News Call site. Oh, no. Oh, I just lost access to all this audio, y'all. Half the next segment, by the way. Mm. You know how sometimes you have more passwords than you have bandwidth for? Oh, God. What's the password?
Yeah, tell me about it. I got too many.
WBRP. When did we sign up with ABC News? It was before you got here, huh?
Yeah, I believe so.
When did you get here? 23?
24.
Okay, let me try 23.
Funny enough, I applied in 23. Came in, spoke to Judy. Didn't work out, but I'm like, you know what? I'll try again. A year later, almost to the day. Crazy. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But
How's there nothing on? .637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We just hit a snag on this segment, y'all, because I have lost access to all the audio that was supposed to be here. Tell you what, give me just a quick second to work through this, and I apologize. This is working on the fly. We were going to visit with take a visit to RFK Jr.'s visits to the Senate yesterday and some of the testimony. And I got logged out. I got logged out and I don't have the password handy. Nuts. No problem at all. We'll pivot real quick because I had a stack of items to cover here, and we will hopefully be able to make our way back over to that story before it's all said and done. But it was not pretty. It was not pretty on Capitol Hill yesterday. RFK Jr. Giving testimony, receiving questions. Really, a lot of food fight going on as well. A lot of grandstanding. But it's this is all in the wake of changes over the CDC, turmoil over at the CDC, and the like. Let's see if we can't get at least one or two cuts for you if I can get logged back in. In the meanwhile, you heard that story in our news at the bottom of the hour. Louisiana Secretary of State's office launching an investigation. They launched the investigation back in May into the number of non-citizens registering to vote. Yesterday, Secretary Nancy Landry announced the results of that investigation.
We were able to identify 390 non-citizens who were on our voter rolls. who are not eligible to vote, and 79 of them have actually voted in one or more election over past several years.
Want your feedback over on Facebook Live. We are live on Facebook, courtesy of the folks at Lake Urgent Care every single day. And I want your comments on this one. Do those numbers alarm you? It's a two-part thing here, right? On the one hand, shouldn't happen at all. That number should be 0 on both fronts. 0 non-citizens registered to vote, because how? And more importantly, 0 non-citizens voting. All right. Number 2 is, the flip side of that is, if it were happening, that number isn't huge. It's not outrageous. 79 votes statewide is not going to change a statewide election. Now, if they're all concentrated in one district, in one precinct, maybe. It's very, very rare that you see an election decided by, a small handful of votes that would be an election on a big scale. But like if you're talking about a police jury over in Livingston Parish, 79 votes can be a major swing here. If you're talking about like a race for judge here in East Baton Rouge, well, I mean, as long as Garth Brooks didn't play in that day, it shouldn't make a major dent. But it can. So it's a two-part question over there at Talk 1073's Facebook page. Number one is does it alarm you that it happens at all? Or was there a part of you that says, doesn't really shock me? You figure it's going on. And the flip side of that is, with it going on, does 390, I think she said, does 390, does that feel like a low number? The other way to phrase that question is, are they doing a good job to only let that many through? Meanwhile, Secretary Landry says investigators were able to determine their citizenship after getting free access to the federal SAVE database. This stands for Systemic Alien Verification for Entitlements. She said in previous presidential administrations, it was $1.75 per name to search, but the Trump administration removed that charge. Landry said she will pursue legal action against those who illegally registered to vote.
Where appropriate, we're going to refer anybody who has broken the law to the proper authorities to prosecute, and there are both federal and state laws implicated.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around like how much influence the numbers can have. Landry says, and she's right, it especially in local races, this is what I was just talking about, every vote counts. And when you do get down to those local races, but how many non-citizens are piling in to elect an alderman in Killian? I don't even know if they have aldermen in Killian. I'm just throwing things out. But like, how many non-citizens want to vote for mayor of Bunkie? Like, are they in it for those races, or are they going to be in larger metropolitan areas voting in bigger races? Like, would 79 votes swing whether or not Cleo Fields is our congressman? No. But that's not to take away from the possibility that in those smaller races, yeah, it could happen.
I like to use the example of my own first race in 2007. The first time I ran, the race came down to just 33 votes, and that was with over 14,000 votes in that race.
Down to 33 for a statewide race? All right. I mean, look, it's that's why I asked the question, is because it is possible. On any scale, it's possible. So Landry says with the signing of Act 500, it's going to be harder for non-citizens to register to vote, since people will now be required to prove their citizenship when registering to vote. I'm baffled that wasn't a requirement beforehand. 643 at Talk 1073 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're going to get you up to the Senate here in just a second. Just a little bit of sampling of audio from RFK Jr. yesterday. JP, check your email. We're kind of doing this on the fly in real time. While I have a quick second, want to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. Talking to folks with anxiety or depression, or anyone who has a loved one that battles with anxiety and depression, you know the battle, especially if you're the one living it. You know the battle's constant, and you know it's exhausting. In fact, that's what turns anxiety into depression, is the ever-presence of it. the inescapability of it, that constant fight or flight mentality. The seas are always choppy between the ears. NeuroJust calms those seas. TMS is the name of the therapy, transcranial magnetic stimulation. Basically, it takes those 6-foot waves that are in your mind and just calms them down to just smooth sailing seas. So, if traditional therapy isn't your bag, if the prescription drugs don't work the way you'd like them to, check out neurojust.com. Talk with them about TMS therapy. It's non-invasive. It's FDA approved. There are 0 side effects. Talk with them about what it can do for you at neurojust.com. Not going to have enough time to dig in as much as I wanted to from yesterday's friendly little visit up Capitol Hill, but RFK Jr., the secretary, was up there. I want to start with the CDC changes cut, if we could. This is Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. testifying yesterday on President Trump's health care agenda before the Senate Finance Committee.
These changes were absolutely necessary adjustments to restore the agency to its role as the world's gold standard public health agency with the central mission of protecting Americans from infectious disease.
The anti-vaccine movement has grown very, very much, very, very recently. And I'm not even talking about like the whole autism argument thing. That was a very small percentage of the population. I'm talking about the overall anti-vax movement. And it was catapulted in front and center because of COVID-19. And it looks like there's no way for us as a populace to go back to how we were before COVID-19. Here's RFK Jr. talking about COVID-19.
We literally did worse than any country in the world. And the people at CDC who oversaw that process, who put masks on our children, who closed our schools, are the people who will be leaving.
He's bringing up a lot of good questions, a lot of questions that have validity, a lot of questions that need legitimate answers, but legitimate answers where we don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Your Money Now is on the way. Oh. It was well placed, well delivered. Oh, do we have NeuroJust in there? In a NeuroJust logo in the rotation? We have Vex, we have BTR. We don't have Vex? Okay. Is Landmark Bank in there? Everyone who has a live read should be in there. Okay. No, I'm not worried about it after the show. No, why it should not distract you from the show. Oh, guys, occupation. Lake Urgent Care is pre-recorded, so I'm gonna disappear for a couple minutes. But before I do, I want to address a couple of comments. We'll start with Galen says, I saw the clip where RFK nailed Elizabeth Warren with $850,000 donation by pharmacy giants. Our government is for sale. Always has been. Our government's always been for sale and always will be for sale. And we have a president right now who's looking to make things a little bit more communist by having the government buy companies. Because that's the only way to remove the government for sale thing, is to be a communist government where the government handles the marketplace. But how do you walk the path of having effective lobbying that gets you good government without a full-on sellout? I don't how do I say this? I'm agreeing with you while posing the next question, Galen. Yes, those numbers alarm me because it demonstrates that we have exposure to larger numbers. The process is bad, or we have bad actors, both of which need to be addressed. Yes, 1,000%. That is, in fact, word for word what I was looking for. Holy crap. It's not what they found, it's that they found. Right? Because it's an ongoing investigation. What they found thus far is only what was able to be found. It doesn't tell you how much shit is yet uncovered. Would you be alarmed if an unauthorized $79 worth was drawn for your bank account? Yeah, completely. Because now you have to go through line item by line item through your bank statement to verify every charge that was made. Now you have to re-question everything you've ever done, retrace every step you've had to make sure that $79 is the only $79. Byron says, I'm more curious as to how it happened. Oh, we've got to call into Nancy Landry's office. She'll be on sometime next week. Oh, what up? Right now, we welcome back the folks from Lake Urgent Care. Love this partnership. Love having these conversations every week. This week, Dennis Taylor, VP of Occupational Health, is our guest. Dennis, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm very well. Occupational health. Let's talk about it. Let's start with what is occupational health and why it's important for businesses.
Well, I like to refer to it as employer health. We're in the urgent care occupational health space. That's our business, and it's very similar to urgent care, but it's for the employers. We want to make sure to keep these employees safe, healthy, and able to do their jobs. When they stay safe and healthy, businesses see fewer call outs, so fewer folks calling out, for absentee, and better productivity, and then overall lowering the overall healthcare costs, which I'm sure we'll talk about moving forward.
Yeah, we should get to all of it. I'm sure. I want to start off with the instances where an employee might be injured. Like, let's say I'm an employer. I have an injured employee. Why am I going urgent care instead of the ER?
Well, and that's a common mistake. Let's be honest here. A lot of folks, it's a default. I know myself growing up and doing a lot of summer jobs and things like that. The automatic default is to go to the emergency room for anything and everything. Well, the convenience that we bring and the difference that we bring, and the biggest thing that we offer is a cost savings. An average visit to the ER for an injured worker is going to be around $2,500, where an average visit for us on a work comp injury, for us to treat the same injury, same acuity, is going to be about $150 to $200. So obviously it's a big impact financially for the businesses. Second, most of our centers, are going to have a 90% less wait time. So big thing again, lost time, folks sitting in an emergency room for X amount of hours versus coming to our facility, going to be treated within 30 minutes or less. So again, not only is there cost savings on when they arrive at the facility and when they leave, and they have to, remit payment, but also there's a cost savings on the back end with the employee not missing work. So you're not paying someone to sit in the emergency room, in the waiting room. So, communication is also probably another big thing I'd like to talk about. Most of the time, I mean, again, emergency rooms are for car wrecks and heart attacks and a lot of trauma type stuff.
Right.
So the communication there is going to, these docs are in and out and trying to take care of people and possibly save lives potentially. And for us, we're able to communicate with that employer directly. It's a lot less busy in our facility, and we're able to give, most importantly, back to work instructions, which helps these folks rehabilitate and get these individuals back to work. So the communication is key.
We're talking with Dennis Taylor, the VP of Occupational Health over at Lake Urgent Care. And injuries are one thing, but when it comes to occupational health, I don't want to pigeonhole y'all. What kind of occupational health services does Lake Urgent Care provide?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. Not only we just talked about work injury treatment, so that would be workers' comp.
Mm-hmm.
We also offer other services such as physical exams, and the two big ones are a DOT, Department of Transportation. So most drivers have to have this annually to continue to drive a vehicle on the Louisiana roads, and then non-DOT, which is a basic physical, and then return to work, fit for duty, customizable physicals such as hazardous waste. We can get pretty extensive depending on the employer's needs, and then substance testing, which is drug, alcohol, and beyond. And then we also offer immunization programs. A lot of folks have people going overseas for work. There's a lot of companies here in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas that have a lot of work internationally. We're able to provide those vaccinations for them, and as well as simple lab testing such as TB testing.
Let's talk about the benefits from the employers, and what are the benefits of partnering with Lake Urgent Care for employee health?
First of all, it's convenient,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of folks that do what we do. There's a lot of medical facilities in and around Baton Rouge, but our differentiator is locations and extended hours and walk-in availability. No appointment needed. You can get in pretty fast in our facilities, hassle-free, very easy. Money, we talked about cost savings.
Yep.
There's a huge benefit there. Staying compliant. Our folks are all educated, certified. We follow OSHA standards, DOT, any other regulatory and compliance work-related programs. Our folks are very adhered to those standards and are very trained to operate accordingly. And then lastly, we can tailor to each business, and that's important because we're not just a blanket. We just don't, one stop fits all. That's not how we operate. We really want to have our folks in tune with each individual employer, and it's kind of like a menu. We want to create something that's going to work for them.
Last one before I get you out of here, and I greatly appreciate your time this morning. We have Dennis Taylor, VP of Occupational Health over at Lake Urgent Care. How can businesses get started with Lake Urgent Care's occupational health services?
Ideally, you can go to our website, which is www.lakeurgentcare.com. You can also check us out on Facebook or Instagram. But a unique thing, too, is we have business development team. And typically, if you go through that channel, through the website and or one of the social media platforms, one of our business development reps will get in contact with you. And again, we talked about the customizing piece. They'll take it from there. It's a lot of one-on-one, a lot of communication. We make it very personal because we realize how important this is for employers and their employees. So having that individual there to help guide you, it's a very simple process to get set up with us. No contracts, nothing like that. So having that individual help navigate those waters is a big plus for a lot of employers.
Dennis Taylor, VP of Occupational Health over at Lake Urgent Care. I appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Always appreciate the partnership with the folks at Lake Urgent Care, which, by the way, the Talk 1073 app is now available on Apple CarPlay. Press play on exclusive podcasts. Listen live 24/7 anywhere you go. Download the app or update to the current version to get access. The Talk 1073 app is presented by Lake Urgent Care. Walk-in care for minor illnesses and injuries. Coming up next hour, we will speak with Walt Leger from New Orleans and Company. We've also got Patty G in the house. That's on the way. BTR. I'm sending you one more Kennedy cut in case we have room for it somewhere. BRB. Not yet. I'm adjusting my fantasy roster. Okay, here we go. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, Roland Redlog. Football's here! On all levels, y'all. All levels. NFL kicked off last night right here on Talk 107.3 FM with Thursday Night Football. By the way, we're your home for both Monday night and Thursday Night Football here on Talk 107.3 FM. You got the NFL here. You got LSU and LSU down the hall on Eagle 98.1. Speaking of the NFL, though, the Saints are down the hall on Eagle 98.1. You have got high school football, all the updates statewide are right here, courtesy of Ken Trahan and his scoreboard show running 6 to 11 starting tonight. Ken's coming up in about an hour and 10 minutes from right now. I'm a little fired up. It's all levels. Like, some people are like a high school football fan only, or like more so. Like, okay, there's a deleted scene from Pulp Fiction where Uma Thurman asks John Travolta, "Are you an Elvis fan or a Beatles fan?" Like, Elvis fans can like the Beatles and Beatles fans can like the Elvis, but at some point you have to choose. Are you an Elvis man or you're a Beatles man? And John Travolta's character, Vincent Vega, he's an Elvis man. Some folks believe you have to choose. You can either be a college football man or an NFL man. Now, NFL can like college and vice versa, but you can't love them the same. I think there's room for high school football in there as well. I don't know what it is. It's just that hearing the drum line as you're walking up to the stadium, seeing the stadium lights through the trees. It's on a smaller level. It's on a hometown level.
See, that's what I'm about.
It's kids
about,
that want to run around and hit somebody.
Yeah.
You know, you got a secondary game of grade school kids playing catch behind the bleachers.
Yes.
Like that.
The lights are up.
Yeah.
Humidity's down.
God willing.
It's just, yeah. But I mean, just fall football, man.
It is.
High school level.
All fronts, all
love
levels. Fired up.
I will say this, though. I got to say this before we move on. I am impressed. Not only do you quote movies, but you quote deleted scenes from movies. That's impressive. Okay? Not only do you have the obscure movie references, like, hey, in a deleted scene from Pulp Fiction on the DVD commentary,
I'll own it.
like
I'll own it.
I'm like, what?
They're sitting at Jackrabbit
I love
Slim.
it.
All right, yeah.
I love it.
I'm not going to dig the hole any further. Yeah, I did just do that. That's like, I don't know if this is like a New Orleans thing or what, but you ever give someone directions by telling them what used to be there? Like, turn right where Schwegman's used to be.
And then
like,
they get it. They're just like, oh, okay.
All right. Top stories and trending. Let's go.
Number 5.
Port Allen High School is incorporating new safety guidelines ahead of the Sugarcane Classic tonight. Those safety guidelines include a clear bag policy, no re-entry into the stadium as well. The West Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office is going to have extra deputies on hand as well as a mobile command station. All this was put in place because 2 years ago there was a shooting at a Port Allen High School football game resulting in the death of a 16-year-old.
Number 4.
Hundreds of people from Smitty's Supply Company are looking for work after being laid off in the wake of the plant explosion in Tangipahoa Parish. Many of those employees were at a career fair in Hammond yesterday, but if you're thinking Smitty's put that career fair together, think again. The Department of Public Safety and Corrections Division of Probation and Parole said the event was originally just a second chance job and resource fair. They just let the Smitty's folks tag along.
Number 3.
Nancy Landry announced the preliminary results of an ongoing investigation into non-citizens on Louisiana's voter rolls, found 390 non-citizens registered to vote, 79 of which have voted in at least one election.
Number 2.
Louisiana's Judiciary Commission yesterday recommended to the state Supreme Court that East Baton Rouge Parish Judge Tiffany Foxworth Roberts be removed from the bench from telling lies and misleading police investigators. The panel considered whether the judge lied in her campaign advertising. Members of the panel said she lacked credibility and tried to deceive those looking into her actions. The Louisiana Supreme Court will ultimately decide on a penalty. Chicanerous and deplorable.
Number 1.
We're going to get Gabrielle, y'all, and it's going to happen today or tomorrow. Not we meaning here in Louisiana. I just mean we as in this storm is going to be named and coming to existence probably today. There is a broad area of low pressure over the eastern tropical Atlantic associated with a tropical wave, producing a disorganized area of showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions are favorable for development for the system. 60% chance over the next 48 hours, 90% chance over the next 7 days, and its path looks like it's trying to hit that pocket where it's headed towards the Caribbean and then maybe up, possibly up towards us. Just everybody, good vibes, maybe a few prayers. Our Lady of Prompt Succor, hasten to help us. Let's keep this thing out in the Atlantic as well.
Well, RFK Jr.'s visit with the Senate yesterday got heated.
Boy, did it. You know what? I just sent you another cut. You have it. I'm going to do my best not to go off on a full-on rant here, but, I mean, this is what it sounded like.
Do you accept the fact that 1 million Americans died from COVID?
I don't know how many died.
You're the Secretary of Health and Human Services. You don't have any idea how many Americans died from COVID?
Both ends of those cut brought to you by Ricola. First of all, I appreciate that senator for actually asking questions and not just grandstanding. Those were in the form of interrogative statements. Those were actual questions. But that was just a tip of the iceberg of how heated it got. And I don't blame RFK Jr. How can you know how many people died of COVID? Do we have to rehash this argument again? Oh, man, it's like how both sides want to rewrite history on what actually happened on January 6, 2021. On the right, they want to tell you nothing at all happened. On the left, they want to tell you it was Pearl Harbor all over again. Okay? It's the same thing with COVID. You can look back on COVID deaths right now. Did anybody ever audit to find out how many people died of COVID and how many people died with COVID? Did we go back and correct all the mistakes where someone got into a car accident? There was a motorcycle accident where the coroner declared that the person who was in the motorcycle accident had COVID, so it was a COVID death. Like, there were those one-offs, but one-offs add up. I don't buy in all the full-on conspiracy theories that they were stacking the numbers completely. Because it's unprovable. It's unprovable. All you can do is accuse somebody with nothing behind it. But, man, for RFK Jr. to say, I don't know, that's a legitimate answer. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to go off on a rant there, and I started in. I'm pulling back now. Sorry.
In other news, President Trump is expected to announce today that the Department of Defense is going back to being called the Department of War.
I want to take it a step further.
Okay.
Can we call it the Department of War? What is it good for?
Yeah.
Just so that everybody else in the room will go, absolutely nothing.
That's it. I mean, it'd be cool.
And if you really want to take it to the nth degree, can we call it the Department of War? Oh, good God, Joe. Can we do that? Can we make that the official name?
Why not?
And if you're watching on Facebook Live, with the little choreography I just did?
Like that.
Yeah.
That was rehearsed before the show. No, I'm kidding.
So many takes. The outtakes were terrible.
Like, no, one more time. Give me one more take. You can do it better. I know you can.
I was about to quote Dom DeLuise from Blazing Saddles.
Was that for?
No. Okay, that was a real scene. That's one. If you get it, you get it, and I'm never going to repeat it.
Well, we've got a shark alligator rule story to close out the trending stories here. The great white sightings continue after a 16 to 17-foot great white was spotted near California coast last week. This time it's a bit smaller, at 11 feet or so, but a great white was filmed off Massachusetts coast yesterday. So stay out the water.
So much more frequent.
Stay out the water, people.
And I know it's my algorithm because I have an affinity for sharks.
Yeah.
I have an affinity for the shark stories, the alligator stories. I know my algorithm is going to feed me, right?
Of course.
But they're everywhere.
They are.
You want to know if there's an alligator in that water? I don't know. Is the water wet? Okay, then there's one in there.
That's right.
We're at 7:14 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, in the interest of staying on time. We're going to break right now. When we come back, Walt Leger from New Orleans & Company. He's next.
Walt Leger. studio. Hi, good morning, sir. Yeah, we'll have you up here in just another 2 minutes or so. Thank you.
$716 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. There's some big news coming out of New Orleans. I believe it was last week. It was announced that Live Golf is making its way to the Big Easy. That is one of the many things we'll be talking about right now with Walt Leger from New Orleans and Company. Walt, how are you, man?
Hey, good morning, Brian. How are you?
Doing very well. Great to see you over in Lake Charles for the Louisiana Travel Association's annual summit, albeit briefly, but did get to say hello.
Yeah, it was great to see you too. What a nice event that was. Always good when leaders from around the state get together and share ideas and get to spend some time together. It was a good event.
What were a couple of your takeaways? Because I did my show, I did 2 shows from there, but I concentrate more on the cities that are coming, the CVBs that are there, just to make my show more about exploring Louisiana. But the travel professionals that are in the room, it's a learning experience. It's a deep dive. What were some of your takeaways?
Well, I think it's always good to talk about what digital tools each entity is using to try to reach their customers.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of refresh on what seems to be working for them, what seems to be working for us, and then ultimately, what I enjoy a lot about it is just trying to build more partnerships. I've told you before, we've been working with Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and Lake Charles for a while with kind of a collaboration of international media that we brought in to take them along the journey across South Louisiana and to explore. And we're looking at doing some additional things with those partners again. And to me, that's exciting. I just think it gives a visitor a more robust experience in Louisiana. And we think New Orleans is one of the most unique cities anywhere in America. And I think we know that South Louisiana creates one of the most unique experiences anywhere in America. And we want to make sure that people understand that as we go out there and sell. And so when we can work together, I think it just adds a lot of value.
Absolutely. The partnership makes the whole greater than the sum of its parts. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
fantastic. Which, by the way, talk about the LTA Summit. I understand it's headed your way next.
Yep. We'll be hosting it next year. So we're excited to have it be at the JW Marriott. I think a little bit earlier in August next year, we were able to shift that up, and I think that'll be good too. So we're looking forward to having the whole state and the tourism leaders across the state, including the Lieutenant Governor, joining us there next year. So we'll be thrilled to have everybody.
Very, very cool stuff. We're talking with Walt Leger from New Orleans and Company. All right, it was just announced, and I want to get to because this is the big topic for today, Walt. Live Golf coming to New Orleans. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I was actually late to the summit because I had to stay back and participate in that announcement. Obviously, excited to have another golf event. We're extremely proud of the Zurich Classic and the PGA Tour. That's been such a big part of the community. They contribute significant dollars to in philanthropy across the community through the 4Kids Foundation every year, last 20 years. This Live Golf event will now be a few months later in late June, which is an awesome time for us to be attracting events. The summer can be a little challenging, so when you get when you can get someone interesting, particularly somebody this big, to come in that time frame, it's exciting, and it brings a little different flavor to the golf fan. Again, this year we'll have it in in 2026 for the first time we'll have it at City Park. They're going to invest some additional dollars, and the state is as well, in amplifying that course. And of course, the celebration that goes along with it, sponsors that come in to support it. It's going to be a really cool event, create some economic activity at a time where we need it. And, the governor was big in recruiting this event, so we obviously really appreciate it when he goes out and helps us to sell our community as a great place to do events. So we're excited for a lot of reasons to have this coming.
It's coming at the exact right time because it feels like that animosity between PGA and Live is starting to wear off right now. The popularity of Live, it's picking up with the TV rights and whatnot through FS1. It feels like the right time for New Orleans to capitalize on it, not just from the event itself, but the publicity of the event.
Yeah, agreed. We certainly hope the animosity continues to diminish. I mean, there's not a lot of value in that for us or anyone.
Right, yeah.
We just as soon have it at, if golf is going to continue to have sort of some different options and different types of events, then New Orleans wants to be a part of it. It's exciting to hear from the Live Golf CEO who said, we try to bring more music, more food, more of a festival environment to this. And if Live Golf was a city, it would be New Orleans. And I thought that was a really great compliment to us. Secondly, Bubba Watson, being there to announce it, being from the Pensacola area, and speaking of the kind of solidarity of the Gulf Coast and how important it was to him to play in junior tournaments and other tournaments over the years in New Orleans and in Louisiana, was really special. And, he was excited about being able to bring family and friends from the Gulf Coast over to New Orleans for this event. And, again, just kind of very warm and an excited Live Golf community to be connecting with us. And that always feels good, too. I think it adds a lot of value.
Playing over at Bayou Oaks. Okay, so the Zurich Classic is at TPC, which is on the other side of the river, and it is fantastic because it can be entirely self-contained. Like, Zurich is its own universe when it's existing, right? Bayou
Right.
Oaks, you kind of have to squeeze into a smaller space. How's that going to play, and how much work has to be put into Bayou Oaks to get it ready?
Well, they're expecting a few $1 million to go into it. I don't think they expect to need to do extensive work, but there are some things they want to do to make it a little bit higher caliber course, which is great for the whole community year round.
Mm-hmm.
You may have seen that City Park has been undergoing some massive planning efforts to make sure that they continue to be such a special place in our city. And I think what you can expect to find is that City Park is going to serve as a host as much as the city of New Orleans is for this event. And so they were a big part of the announcement. And obviously, we've been looking forward to any opportunity to continue to get some investment in the City Park and continue to develop that. So I think you can expect there'll be some additional festival grounds elevation that'll give some more space for this celebration to occur. So it won't obviously be only at the golf course, but you'll have some other areas that'll be activated to make it really special. So I think, we're excited to see how this all plays out and working with some new partners on how to make it special. But I think we feel very confident that New Orleans will continue to step up and demonstrate why we're built to host major events, major sporting events, major conferences and conventions, and ultimately do it better than and different than other cities are doing it.
No, 1,000%. And you kind of led right into it right there, Walt, is that, okay, when you hear New Orleans from like a major event, a built to host perspective, when you hear New Orleans, you think number one Superdome, you think number two the convention center. Adding City Park to that mix just brings everything, like, it moves everything towards the lake a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. It gives people a different, view of the city. We've been really trying to make sure that people can connect to City Park. It's one of the biggest urban parks anywhere in America. It does draw you out closer to the lake, spreads people out a bit. By the way, it's also not very far from downtown. I mean, you can hop on a streetcar and ride it out there in about 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We all know New Orleans is a pretty compact town. And so helping people understand that we have a world-class golf course right there, that you can actually see downtown from the golf course, a beautiful view, really. You see the skyline. And ultimately, this is something we've been trying to highlight from a corporate sales and a meeting standpoint, that people just kind of don't fully, planners haven't really appreciated it. I think this will help us to continue to tell that story and sell corporate events year round, attract people to come do their meetings, do their meetings downtown, but then know that a quick 15-minute ride and they're at a world-class golf course. I think this helps us to tell that story about what New Orleans has to offer that maybe has been escaping people, planners over the years.
And if nothing else, it just ends up with another weekend where New Orleans is on a national and international calendar. Add it to the mix with, everything else that's out there, with Mardi Gras, with Jazz Fest, with Essence Fest, with Zurich. I mean, it's one more where New Orleans gets to be front and center.
Exciting, absolutely. Yep, and actually looks like it'll be a week before Essence Fest as well, and that may create some interesting partnership and elevation opportunities for both organizations. So, when things start stacking up, good things happen, and our goal is to try to fill in all the gaps as much as we can, keep things steady, keep people employed, keep the economy moving, and so there's always holes that need to be filled, and we're going to continue working to fill them.
We got Walt Leger from New Orleans & Company on with us. I could spend the entire time talking live golf, but we do need to move on. Coming up end of next month, Paul McCartney's coming to town.
Paul McCartney's coming in, and then after that, Billie Eilish is going to do two concerts as well. I think those are both sold out, and so I think both those acts just continue to shed light on the fact that major acts are looking at New Orleans as a destination to come. I mean, we had Taylor Swift last year, which doesn't get bigger than that, but
no.
Paul McCartney is massive, and it's exciting that he'll be here. We had Billy Joel coming in around the same time as well. Unfortunately, his health has taken a turn for the worse, which is really upsetting and disappointing. We're praying for him, but it is great to see these concerts continue. Travel trends are showing that more and more people are making their decisions about where they're going to travel based on events, live performance events, sporting, concerts, and otherwise. And so we've got to compete. We've got to continue to draw these in. It's a big part of the strategy for how we continue to punch above our weight class.
Okay, so let's couple that with the upcoming fall festival schedule. Because how do you make sure that those coming in for Billie Eilish or those coming in for Paul McCartney make the most of the city? Y'all got a slew of fall festivals this year.
Yeah, the festivals seem, even more impressive than ever. I mean, it's every weekend. National Fried Chicken Fest, Crescent City Blues and Barbecue Fest, NOLA Funk Fest, Film Fest, Reggae Fest, Crew of Boo. I mean, it really goes on, and it's exciting. We obviously are trying to elevate that as much as we can on neworleans.com, push that information out to people, make sure that people are hearing about it before they come so they can plan, and also learning about it when they're here so that they can get out there and experience it. But yeah, it doesn't, the calendar is spectacular, and obviously we know the weather starts to make the turn for the better, late September, early October, and it becomes really a great time for people to be here. So it's exciting to be getting into football season, and that festival season's right down the road.
The football season being here in full swing. I got to ask you, okay, I'm assuming I know the answer because you're in New Orleans, but are you more of an NFL guy or more of a college football guy?
I'm a huge LSU fan.
There it is.
Okay. So I stay pretty focused on college. Obviously, pull for the Saints and attend the games, and I'm a fan. But college football is a little bit closer to my heart, honestly.
How proud were you of Tulane, though?
I'm very proud. I was going to add, I think in a lot of different ways, it's impressive to see them continue to step up the program.
Yeah.
I think their social media presence is stepping up. Their NIL work is getting more active. The team is obviously highly competitive. The coach is doing a really good job. I think it's very exciting to see. People are excited. We've certainly leaned into it from a marketing standpoint to at least try to communicate to those communities where their opponents are coming in for the games. And I think we're noticing more economic activity in the Uptown area when the games are going on than we have in the past, and hearing that from our members and from restaurants and other attractions. So it's a great thing to see. I think it's great for college football and great for them, and particularly great to see their coach standing up for New Orleans last week when They asked it to wear their Katrina uniforms, and Northwestern denied it. I thought that was a great moment for them and as a program, and for him as a leader.
Yeah, absolutely the same. And 23-3 your final score. So take that, Northwestern.
Yeah.
He is Walt Leger. I want to continue the conversation at a later. Now we're straight up out of time today, but I want to talk about selling Tulane as a from a tourism perspective, because we know how we do here for LSU. It's a monstrosity. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's a conversation to be had later on. Right now, though, always appreciate the time. Have a great
Thank
weekend,
you.
Walt. Yep.
You too. Take care.
Here's
Bye-bye.
news. Matt says this talk show is underrated. You talking about me? Man, thank you. That's awesome. Smitty's has been awful quiet since the explosion. Weird. We're gonna dive into that on Monday. My buddy Pat Mashburn lives downriver. He's got all the I would say all the tea, but he's got all the oil. It is EPA took over the investigation. Tejbo Parish President Ronnie, what's Ronnie's last name? I would remember if I wasn't stupid. Tangeville Parish President is on the outside looking in now. So where we're going Monday, I'm just going to kind of set the table for this. Where we're going Monday, my number one question is going to be, why hasn't a state of emergency been called, an emergency declaration been called? Tangeville Parish President's got a call for it, but we're seeing oil samples pulled out of the Tangeville River on a daily basis, and the residents feel like it's increasing. It's getting worse. And we're 2 weeks removed from this. Like, if this was a nothing burger, all that shit would be gone by now. All the water from upriver would have washed it all away out into Lake Pontchartrain, and then, wherever else after that. That's the outside in today. How are you, sir? You doing all right?
I'm well. How are you?
So tired.
Robbie Miller.
Robbie Miller, thank you. Did I say Ronnie?
You said Ronnie, yes.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Like I said, I could remember if I wasn't stupid.
You going to Mercy Masters this year?
Why no? Huh?
Why no?
Haven't been yet.
You haven't been at all?
No.
Why?
Why would I?
I don't know. Figure it's a big Mercy event.
It is
You're a big Mercy guy.
I am a big Mercy guy.
You don't like golf?
Love golf. Love golf. It's the middle of a work day.
It is the middle of a work day on a Monday.
Why is it golf tournaments are on Mondays?
Because that's when courses are generally the slowest.
Correct. Our dreams come true. Golf tournaments on a Monday.
Mm-hmm. It's generally when,
every not-for-profit golf tournaments on a Monday.
Yeah, you're either going to get a free tournament or a really inexpensive tournament booking from the course.
Yep. Kill mics, please. 737 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. It is time to dig back in with Patty G. Patrick Gremillion, host of the Patty G Show. What's happening, brother?
Not too much, man. Not too much.
What do you mean not too much? Everything's going on, dude.
A lot is happening.
That's. I mean, did you? Hang on. This is what I got here.
Going through your stack of notes, stack
Bro,
of paper
I got
over here, man.
So much prep today. We got a fact book later. We got
A
How about
fact
we
look
start
at
there?
later.
Fact book.
Fact book, yeah. But no, a lot is happening, like just in life in general. I feel like there's something like now that school season's here,
Mm-hmm.
everything got a lot busier.
Wait, yours are old. You've got one old enough to be in school now.
I have two. Both of them are in school.
Both are in.
Well, Mother's Day out.
Okay, that's not school. Come on.
4 days a week we bring him there. Come on now. He goes 5 days
That's
a
a
week.
lot of Mother's Days out. But wait, there's a lot going on in the city as well. Baton Rouge Area Chamber had some news earlier this week. We are a top 10 metro, U.S. metro by Site Selection magazine, which, if I can completely oversimplify it, means look at all the jobs we've gotten in the metro over the last 5 years, and then look at the potential for more. You add those two together, and those are all and they get a billion metrics within.
Yeah.
But you add those two big numbers together, and it says this is how you're set up for success, and we're a top 10 on that front.
And we have been a top 10 for several years in a row now, which is huge, given the fact that your prior conversation I was listening to on the ride over about Live Golf and all the festivals and everything going on in New Orleans. It's like, well, Baton Rouge is set up to be the business hub, and we've had this conversation before, right? The differences between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and how Baton Rouge is the capital and it's where you come to get work done, and this is proof of that.
Right. That's not to say that New Orleans is downtown is ridiculous. It's huge. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
They're a business hub as well. But yeah, what are we doing to make the most of this?
Right. So you've got investment happening, as we talked last week, kind of bridging that gap here with private equity coming in and starting to buy up different spaces, repurpose buildings, and have their employees work down here. So we're seeing a lot more foot traffic. You're seeing a lot more people coming in during the work week into downtown specifically, which is driving the whole downtown regional economy with lunches, meetings happening in different buildings. But what's interesting, and we actually did this year, was finding old buildings that are not necessarily totally falling down, but just need some love, and giving that investment and love into them to repurpose them.
Well, Visit Baton Rouge went a step further and found a building that is falling down, is gone. It's a shell.
Wait, which building are they moving to? I know they're moving.
Yeah, you know where?
Is it that one
across the street from the Capitol Hilton, right next door to Indigo? It's basically a brick shell. And no, I'm not saying this to mean offense in any way. They're going to turn it into something amazing.
Yeah,
they are going to turn it into something amazing. But as it stands right now, as it barely stands right now,
barely stands.
Like, my son has built more stable structures out of Legos than what they're moving into over there. So they're
not moving into it as a shell.
No. They've got a lot of work ahead of them, but they're going to take something that was a borderline non-existent. You were one step away from saying just flatten the damn thing and we'll start over again, and they're going to rebuild it into something that is historical in its aesthetic. I don't know if anything historical happened in there because it used to be a printing shop. It's like,
stuff was printed.
Yeah, but like what?
I don't know. But
I know, but
that's where we have to start digging deeper when we do stuff in downtown or in Baton Rouge in general.
So
dig into what it was, what was in that building, what used to be there. You seen the movie The Intern?
Robert De Niro?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
I've seen a movie. You haven't?
It's crazy.
Mark this day in history.
You should.
With the he's marking it this time next year.
Yeah.
1 year ago. So he goes and works over at a building where he used to work back in his former job 30 years ago.
Right.
How do we find the history of the buildings that we're starting to do that with? Visit Baton Rouge has potential to look into, it was a printing shop, but what was printed here? Was this somewhere that some grander flyer or something was printed? Can we get our hands on it? Does anybody have it? Finding and digging into each building as we work through it.
Right. And so, and this is where, and this is one of my triggers, by the way, this is where I believe Baton Rouge does a terrible job of knowing its own history.
Right. I mean, look, my building says it's the first skyscraper in downtown Baton Rouge.
Air quote skyscraper.
It's a placard on the building, Brian.
Yeah. It's a 3-story building?
6.
Wow.
I mean, it's up there.
That's how did we end up defining skyscraper?
We never did. We just found what Google accepts.
I think off the air we defined. No, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah. But nevertheless, like there's a placard on the front of it, historic building, registered, built in 1912. That's the claim on the building.
Right.
Accurate, not accurate, whatever it may be. Like we as Baton Rougeans have to figure out when we're doing stuff like this, projects like Visit Baton Rouge. Okay, what was it? How can we showcase that?
And there's an important distinguisher there as well because another example is over by Valley's Casino. They were looking at tearing down one of the maritime buildings before the historical folks got involved and said, no, this is a historical building. And one of the questions I was asking throughout that whole debate, that whole back and forth was, is it historical because it's a stack of old bricks, or did something historical happen there?
That's a valid question. So
The Crest building is historical because there were sit-ins during the Civil Rights Movement at the Crest building, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, if you tell me, this is the new Visit Baton Rouge was an old print shop, I'm like, that's great, but, like, what was printed there?
Yeah.
Was, like, let's say when the last version of Louisiana's Constitution came out in 1972.
Okay.
Like,
were they the print shop?
Right. Right. Did it come off the presses there? Like, because if so, you're adding up a resume for actual history happened here.
Yeah, and I think then figuring out a way to incorporate that in the lobby or sometime, because now you're Visit Baton Rouge.
Right.
You've got people that come in to see, hey, I'm here in downtown Baton Rouge. I want to know what to do. Where do we go? What do we see? What's historical about this place? What has significance?
Right.
And if they can say this building specifically was the hot off the press used in downtown Baton Rouge, that's got something.
Right. And I want to know, where is there more of that? Because there's got to be more of that. Right?
There has to be. And so then you start looking into Plan Baton Rouge 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what they're looking at, connectivity, historic restoration, and historic preservation, that's a big focus. And in the committee meetings, and we're talking through with different business owners in the downtown area, they want to see some of the similar things. They want a better use of what's there, but also who are we as a city? What was where we are now? If you got a restaurant owner in a building, they're coming in renovating it to suit what they're trying to build. But if they can come in and get some type of historic tax credit by bringing back what was there in some way,
mm-hmm.
that's got to be an incentivization for them.
Right. You know who should be looking into historic tax credits?
Who?
Us.
Yeah, this building.
The original Baton Rouge General?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll talk to Flynn.
Yeah. Sling some money this way.
But like Visit Baton Rouge, if they are able to do that, should then leverage those historic tax credits like a pizza shop on Government Street is doing, I've noticed.
What pizza shop on Government Street?
What pizza shop on Government Street?
Oh, Fleur de Lis?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a sign.
That's historical?
There's a sign that's saying...
Can Greece be historical?
Well, if the Greece could talk. So there's a sign they've got out front that says historic tax credit, and they've got like a whole bit of information about what they're doing in regards to utilizing historic tax credits.
Good on them. Good for them.
So like,
and they're bringing Fleur de Lis back, right?
Who knows?
Okay.
I mean, Teak by Day is doing the designing, so I don't know if he can redesign what Fleur de Lis was on the inside.
Just clean it. That's all I ask. and take a credit card, for God's sakes. It's 2025.
Oh, no. Come on, Brian. Cold hard cash.
No. Can you tap? You can tap into your wallet and get some cash.
Yeah. Or use the ATM. But nevertheless, it's doing stuff like that, figuring out what was there in downtown and how do we bring it back. We've got a lot of vacant buildings, which then causes concern for safety, right? And another big topic for downtown is safety. Lighting, vacant buildings, all that plays a factor in ensuring when you come down here, you have that element of safety.
Right. Right. The safety part is a big part of it. Hang on, we got to pause 1 second because I said Baton Rouge is terrible at its history.
Yeah.
Okay, you know who would know Baton Rouge's history? A New Orleanian by birth, but he was the head of Visit Baton Rouge for billions of years. Paul Arrigo just texted me, said the old Visit Baton Rouge, where Visit Baton Rouge is right now, Arrigo moved him into that headquarters on 3rd Street. Before that, it was on North Boulevard, where Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association is now.
Mm-hmm.
That building, it used to be the home of the president of Standard Oil.
Really?
Yeah. How cool is that?
I mean, it's my neighbor. I walk by it every day.
Every single building in downtown, in Spanish Town, in Beauregard Town, Every single building should have its resume spelled out for you, like what it used to be.
Yeah, I think you should have almost like a provenance of the building, showing the owners, the history, who
Good or
occupied.
bad.
Right.
Good, if you traded,
Just put the facts.
If you traded slaves, I want to know it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, and just being able to say this happened here, again, good or bad, the history is what the history is.
Right.
Let's just at least know about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was doing research into our space, there was like maybe one article written about it. That was it.
See.
I'm like, it's been here since 1912.
Yeah.
You've got to have a lot more happening in that space. And again, to your point, maybe they didn't want to write about what was happening.
Well, and isn't that part of it though?
It
is
is
whitewashing
part of
the
it.
history.
Yeah.
But if we don't embrace it, like there's so much more to gain by embracing it.
Yeah, like
good or bad.
My curiosity is like, what's the story of the red clock? Why is it there? Why was the clock right there? I don't have an answer.
Yeah. I'm sure there is an answer.
Yeah. So it's like, but how do we go about then figuring that out?
Right.
Where do we look to determine what was there? What's the story behind it? The significance behind it? Having somebody like that be able to say, oh, this is what the current Visit Baton Rouge building was is great. But we've got to start getting on that before those people are no longer with us.
Right. Yeah. And what your version of history is, or how deep you have to go back into history to determine that it's historical, is entirely subjective.
Yeah.
Because what's happening right now, what's happening today, will be historical 100 years from now.
Mhm.
So why not just start the ledger?
I agree.
Yeah. We got about a minute and a half. About a minute and a half till break. I want to start a question right now. We're going to pick it up on the back end of the break. You moved over to safety, and safety and beautification when it comes to downtown Baton Rouge and Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3. I have a very tiny role in Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 as a part of a focus group. And I want to ask this question legitimately, and I'm not going to take anything that was off the record and bring it on the record, but I want to ask this question legitimately. How can we make sure that through Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3, we're not putting the cart before the horse?
What's the cart and what's the horse, Brian?
The horse is jobs. The cart is everything else.
Okay.
We need more residences in downtown Baton Rouge. Okay, but who's going to live in them? I'm not making an investment into an apartment building unless I know it's going to get full. You're going to have jobs first. We need beautification in downtown Baton Rouge. Okay, but that costs upkeep, and that's going to be on the back of what taxpayer? We need better lighting for safety. Okay, I'm on board with that no matter what. But, like, how do we avoid putting the cart before the horse? Oh, I would like to open up a little ice cream parlor, or I have scooter rentals, or whatever the case might be. How can we redirect the conversation back to jobs? That was your cue.
Oh, that was my
You were
cue.
supposed to give me like 3 sentences, and then we hit the break. It was supposed to be 3
I thought you were
sentences.
leading off the question for the break.
No. It was the short answer, and then I was going to cut you off, and I was going to say, here's your money now.
I thought you said I'll leave you with the break with this question. I thought that's what you started with.
No, I said I'm going to open it up now, and we'll pick it up on the back end.
Right, you're going to start the question now and pick up the answer on the back end is how I interpreted
We're only
that.
gonna have 4 minutes on the back end, so.
My bad. You gave me that blank look. I'm like, oh, I thought we were cutting. So that is a very tough question that nobody has an answer to be honest.
I know.
We were in the business leader committee meeting at BRAC with the designers and all that stuff, and a lot of the restaurant owners were like, "We've built it. When will they come?"
Right.
And another great question that they asked was, okay, so you go through all this planning. It takes a year or two, right, to get all this planning done. Then what? Where do we go with the planning now that it's here?
And poor Whitney is going to have to constantly chase what is the meaning of a downtown. What is the purpose of a downtown? Whitney Hoffman Sale from the Downtown Development District.
Okay.
She's constantly chasing the relevance of downtown, because it used to be just Here's where all the business is. And to an extent, that will always be the way. Pericles of Athens, the very first mayor, said all things good flow into the boulevard. And the boulevard flows into the city because of the city's goodness. Like, downtown is essentially what was the first trading post. So,
but now that we can trade from anywhere, how do we get them to come back to the post?
Right. So, was it all things good flow into the city?
I don't know.
Or all things good flow into the boulevard?
Did we talk about the tech park moving downtown?
Nexus, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't recall if that was you and I or me and
Where's it
somebody
moving
else.
to?
Above Mathern's.
That's right.
Coincidentally, we left the technology park to be downtown with the studio, and then they moved less than a block away from the studio.
Let's go. That's the answer to my question. Bit by little bit is the answer to my question. There it is.
What?
Pericles of Athens. The golden age of Athenian democracy under Pericles.
Who's running y'all's podcast network now?
No one.
So who records the shows?
Everybody individually.
For outsiders.
Oh, Michelle Southern. I thought you meant like internally.
No, for external users.
Yeah, Michelle Southern. You can send them to me though. I'll get them to her.
Okay.
You know somebody needs a studio?
No, I know somebody who's using the studio over mine.
Who's that?
Klein Peter.
Using our studio? She's using our studio.
I think so. She was given production.
$7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. As we hit the break, Patty G realized he does have the answer to the question.
Bit by bit, Brian.
Bit by bit. Well, no, but expound upon that because there was a recent announcement about Tech Park in Nexus, Louisiana.
So, as you know, I've got two businesses down here downtown.
Mhm.
I've got my business advisory firm, and most recently I've moved the Patty G Show studio downtown in the same building as me, a little selfishly so I could walk down the hall. So we were in the technology park off of Florida, and I was a 20-minute drive for me.
Yeah.
And because now I'm downtown every day, all day. So moved it down the hall from my current office, and then come to find out probably a month or so, 2 months or so after I moved, the technology park is in fact moving downtown.
Yep.
Less than a block away from me.
Okay. Now, they're
above
moving
Mathern's.
Above Mathern's.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because they'll be right above a full-service grocery store.
And right in the block where there's 4 or 5 different restaurants right there.
Yeah.
So you're going to have founders and creators
Mm-hmm.
doing big technology. That's the push here, right?
Mhm.
Big tech.
Yeah.
Doing big tech in downtown.
Right.
And they're going to have a place to eat. You're going to have a place to grocery shop, which means if you got a place to grocery shop, might as well move.
Right. In
And
fact, I believe there's a gym in that building as well.
There is a
I
gym
don't know
in
if
the
it
building.
survived, but yeah.
There's a gym in that building, and there's also a YMCA a little bit down the street as
Yes,
well.
there
Like,
is.
I think a block or two.
So you got both of those. So you can
You can live your life
right
within
right
the hub of downtown.
And the beauty part about this, how that becomes bit by bit, it's an incubator.
It is.
So you grow the business in downtown, the business spawns off into its own thing. Why wouldn't it stay downtown?
So
that's you have them in there. The fish is in the boat.
Right. That's the connector I look forward to seeing Tony make, where he's connecting with other business, aka building owners
Mhm.
that have vacant space. Downtown rent is less expensive than some spots in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
It just is. Because
Yeah.
you're trying to attract people down there. So I would love to see the technology park reach out to business owners in the area that own buildings that have vacant rent, vacant space available, and connect with them and say, hey, you've gone through the technology park's purpose. You've lived through the program as the incubator. You've gotten your business to a size where you can go and branch out, but we're still going to be here as that hub. So why don't you just move a block or 2 blocks down the street?
We got a minute and a half left before we got to get out of here. So I'm going to ask you this question, and I do want an
You
answer.
want an answer?
I do
Okay,
want an
God,
answer.
let's just be clear.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do with the repercussions? You move a business from Florida Boulevard downtown. Now you got a hole on Florida Boulevard, not far from where Amazon is, but at the same time, not far from where, let's say, Mall City, where things haven't been the best. Like, what do you do to make sure you're not, you're not knocking somebody over in your wake?
Bit by bit, Brian. You've got to talk with larger organizations that can fill that size of space and say you can move to Florida Boulevard. It's the continuous conversation. We need office space. We need living space. And so you have to figure out a way to slowly incorporate that as you head out. Yeah, you're leaving the space vacant. But there are some companies within that technology park that can still afford to take up a space there.
Hey, how often do you go to Mathern's downtown?
Oh, like once or twice a week.
Once or twice a week. Is it awesome?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty good. They've got some really good wines, some wine
The
specials.
wines are awesome. The salad bar's phenomenal. That
Haven't had the
lunch,
salad bar.
do the salad bar, man. Underrated. It's quick. Of course, you're eating healthy.
Yeah.
Or if you want to go over to the lunch counter, they've got you covered there as well. Right now is where I'm supposed to be doing my spot for Mathern's.
You know what else you see down at Mathern's downtown?
What's that?
Other business owners.
Yeah.
You have a small network of people there, run into people off the street, and you're like, I know you.
Yeah.
We're shopping at the same place.
Meanwhile, you got Mathern's on campus as well because tomorrow is game day. He's Patty G. Always appreciate the time. Here comes news.
Go Tigers.
And once again, you can just copy and paste the notes to the next time because we only hit like 2 of them. So.
We hit the theme, right?
Right.
We're hitting the theme. Being
Yes.
downtown
But-
Baton Rouge.
And yes, and it's continuing the conversation. And the last one was like 90 minutes of a Zoom call. I turned my camera off because I was fucking falling asleep. But yeah, 90-minute Zoom call. The first one, I've done 2 Zoom calls. The first one got overrun by some fucker who rents electric bikes. He might be the greatest guy in the world, I don't know. But if you're trying to sell me on downtown, the bikes aren't the hub. And last meeting was more about bigger picture. I brought up job creation and job development and what are we doing with the 4th Street facelift? To me, the 4th Street facelift is going to be every bit as important as the riverfront.
4th Street?
4th Street facelift. 4th Street is the one where you look right at the Capitol. You stand on one end and see the Capitol on the other. And it is an alleyway that we need to take the most advantage of because of its aesthetic. And because of the potential on both sides of the road to build out, redevelop, make things new again.
Yeah.
What are we doing with the facelift to make buildings like where Visit Baton Rouge is going to be? What are we doing to make all those things possible?
I think it's a lot, right? I think a big part with downtown is pushing the available revitalization credits that the state has to offer.
Yeah.
Like they're there, but they're not pushed, right? No one's pushing them saying, hey, if you invest $1 million, you get 600,000 back, or whatever the math is on it. You know.
Now, I've been told by a couple of folks that the logistics and hoops you have to jump through to get qualified for all that shit are so cumbersome that
It
it's
deters
almost
people.
a wash
So
on the dollar end.
So then, I've got a guy that I know that plays liaison for film tax credits,
Mm-hmm.
where he works through all the hoops and then sells them. So you come.
Can we get the same liaison for
That's what I'm saying. We need the same
historical
liaison. We need a liaison for historic tax credits.
that says I know the path.
I know the path.
I'm your guide.
If it's
I need a historical tax credit Sherpa.
if you get let's say it's a 10% credit of every spend, and if he goes, my fee's 0.5%.
Right.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
1% is worth it.
1%. I go 1%.
Like my fee is 1% of the credit you get.
Yeah. 1%. Well, because 1% of $1 million is what, $10,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it takes him a month,
Right. He makes 10 grand a month. Oh, fuck yes. Okay. This conversation was already better than the 90-minute conversation that I had on Zoom. Historical tax credit Sherpa.
yeah. So I'll talk to my movie credit guy, see if he knows anybody in the film.
Grant writing. Yeah.
It's not grant writing.
It's not?
No, grant writing is nonprofit stuff.
Oh, I would assume but if you had a good grant writer, they would be able to transfer those skills to.
I see what you're saying. The skills that come with grant writing.
the bureaucratic skill set.
Yeah,
The
like
bureaucratic.
here's what we're doing. Here's how it's blah blah preserving.
Yes,
the
it's a
history of it.
it's a bureaucratic ninja warrior course.
So if that's the case, then you've got to have the Sherpa has to know where to find the history. If it's in the library, if it's in the wherever.
Right.
The history, and start with the tax records,
Yeah.
tax sales. They got to record who the buyer and sellers are every time.
Yeah.
Can you find, like we were able to find an old phone book that had the roster of who was in our building.
Yeah.
So little by little, somebody's got to be able to do that with every single building in downtown Baton Rouge, or
And
a group of people over time.
And then finding the history within, finding like, and this is where New Orleans does such a better job. Is like, okay, finding out that, Lee Harvey Oswald was handing out anti-Castro rally flyers out in front of Guy Bannister's office. Like, why would anyone know that? Like, how many times did that happen in Baton Rouge? And we have a want to keep everything pretty. We have a want to say, we want to call the Civil War the unpleasantness. It just.
But it doesn't mean that one of these buildings may have been a place of refuge that people went for healing.
An Underground Railroad stop.
Yeah.
That nobody knew about.
Yeah.
Right. That's what made it underground.
Yeah. There's a lot of underground in downtown Baton Rouge. I promise you stuff happened there.
I don't mean physically underground.
No, I mean physically.
No, I mean like the Underground Railroad was not an actual subway.
What? What are you talking about? That's not what they teach nowadays, Brian. Teach they had conductors in there. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, she did. You know who else had a car? Pablo Picasso.
What kind of car?
This is going to blow your mind.
Picasso.
I'm sure it will blow my mind.
I imagine someone like Picasso just walked wherever. Like this guy didn't own a car.
I think he painted and walked.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of car. Pablo Picasso died in 1973.
See, that's insane.
He had to have had a car.
You think he was 91 years old?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
But like, I always assumed Pablo
So
Picasso
then
was like
say,
in the
what
1800s.
car did he drive?
I don't know. Okay.
It's a Volkswagen. It's a Volkswagen Beetle. That's what I imagine Picasso would drive.
How often?
I know it wasn't a Porsche.
Stuff on your computer,
What do you mean?
like using the keyboard.
I don't know.
Very painful to watch you type.
I have a show to do. A 1956 Renault Dauphine.
He also had a 1956
Benz.
Mercedes-Benz
Get a
300
Benz.
SL.
If you're Pablo Picasso, go to Vex European.
Dang.
Later, brother. 806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, JP producing. We are we're gonna do a little this day in history, and then we are going to crank it up on the football front. Ken Trahan is going to join us in our next segment. Ken Trahan's Prep Football Report begins tonight, 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. That is 5 solid hours of Friday Night Lights. That is 5 solid hours of high school football action from each and every nook and cranny and corner of the state. Looking forward to that. We'll talk with Ken in our next segment. Charles Hanagriff, good old Hanny, co-host of Live at Lunch, going to join us at 8:35. We'll preview LSU versus Louisiana Tech. Quick shout out to the folks at the Louisiana. I'm sorry. Hang on a second. Okay, sorry. That's for later. Quick shout out to the folks at the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com is the website. They normally bring you Foodie Friday. We had a bit of a scheduling snafu today. Nobody's fault, but a bit of a scheduling snafu. So no Foodie Friday today, but still Foodie Friday as we move from the summertime grilling season to the tailgating season, which means what? More grilling. Got to remind you about the Beef Industry Council and BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com. Foodie Friday will pick back up again next week. Right now, though, this day in history.
Hey, did you know
Did
that
I
Back
know?
to the Future is coming back to theaters?
What?
Yeah. A
What?
little special, what is it, 40 year
Great
anniversary?
Scott!
Yeah, coming back to IMAX.
Okay.
I don't know back to IMAX. I shouldn't say back to IMAX. I don't know if there was IMAX back then.
There wasn't
right?
IMAX in 1985.
There were no IMAXs.
No.
But yeah, just want to note that.
Okay.
Hey, today, 1946, the first public library in the Americas is established.
All right.
I'm sorry, my mic is falling. Hold
What
on.
is wrong with your mic?
Sorry, what is going on? Why is this? I think I'm having the same issue that thing had. Sorry. I'll hold it. It's all good.
You handle that mic like Biff Tannen handles a prom date.
That's it.
That's a little Back to the Future reference right there.
Yikes. Man. Anyway, so yeah, this first library in the Americas.
Okay.
Look at this, 1698. This Russian Tsar, Peter the Great, imposes a tax on beards.
On beards?
What? What? It's messed up.
When you say beard, do you mean the actual facial hair
That's
or
what
the
I'm
woman that
wondering.
rolls? Okay.
That's what I'm wondering. Like,
Just making sure.
what's going on here? Hey, 1781, French fleet of 24 ships under, I'm going to butcher this name, Comte de Grasse.
Why put
Defeats-
on an accent?
I don't know. I just felt like I should.
That's
I feel like when
What
I do
kind
this
of
day in
accent was
history,
that?
I don't know. I feel like I should. I don't know. I feel
this
like I
day
should
in what
dress
year?
for- It's 1781.
1780. I don't even have it on my list.
This is the what?
No,
They defeat the British forces under Admiral Thomas Graves and Samuel Hood at the Battle of the Chesapeake.
there's no reason for an
and traps
accent on
General
Chesapeake.
Lord Charles Cornwallis during the American Revolutionary War.
All right.
It's the birth of America.
All right.
Why not?
This day in 1793, the Reign of Terror began.
Ooh.
As harsh measures were undertaken against those suspected of being enemies of the French Revolution. Tomorrow, the Reign of Terror begins if you play for Louisiana Tech. How about that?
Hey, there we go. I like that.
Yep.
I like that. Let's see. What else did I have here? Oh, hey, today, U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt receives a Nobel Peace Prize
Go ahead, Ted.
for his role as a mediator in the Treaty of Portsmouth. Portsmouth?
Portsmouth. Yeah.
Portsmouth.
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 The port has a mouth.
Portsmouth.
Yep.
1939, Franklin D. Roosevelt declares U.S. neutrality at the start of the World War II in Europe.
How'd that work out?
Well,
Stuck around for about 2 years.
a little bit,
Yeah.
you know. 1956, Elvis Presley surprised his mother with a pink Cadillac. The car remained in the Presley family and eventually went on display at Graceland.
Oh, wow.
Today, also 1976, Jim Henson's The Muppet Show premieres on television.
Okay, I got two to squeeze in
That's
here.
pretty cool.
Neither one is more important than the Muppets, though.
That's right.
The
Muppets still going strong, by the way.
Muppets raised generations of Americans.
Yeah.
This day in 1960, Muhammad Ali won the gold medal in the 175-pound division of the 1960 Olympics.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Muhammad Ali. I was doing a little Coming to America thing. Muhammad Ali won the gold in 1960 today. And
okay, yeah,
on,
that's good stuff.
Nuts. On this day in 1983, sorry, I thought it said 73. This day in 1983, Pontchartrain Beach closed down in New Orleans.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
I know.
No, it wasn't a bummer. In 1998, Aerosmith scored their first #1 single with a Diane Warren written song, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. I didn't realize that was their own. That was their first
#1.
The first #1.
Aerosmith had been around for a good 20 years before that, at least.
The song, which was, of course, featured on the film Armageddon.
Yeah.
Such a great movie. Gave the band their first #1 single after 28 years together.
All right.
Wow.
Had no clue that was.
I figured it would have been Walk This Way.
Right?
But even before that, Dream
Sweet
On,
Emotions?
Sweet Emotion. Yeah, all that. Yeah, first #1. That's what it took.
That is so bonkers.
It took for Bruce Willis to go to space.
Yeah, Ben Affleck. Liv Tyler.
Ooh, Owen Wilson.
Why was
in
this
there,
movie
too.
good again?
So good. Nostalgic for sure.
Owen Wilson. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, moving on to birthdays.
Yeah.
Bob Newhart as well. Michael Keaton, speaking of actors.
Okay.
And Freddie Mercury as well today.
Freddie Mercury is born today?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, speaking of space, you know what? I have one about Freddie Mercury and space.
Okay.
In 2016, an asteroid was named after Freddie Mercury to mark what would have been the singer's 70th birthday.
They named an asteroid after him?
Yeah.
Did they go to like the
That's
same
insane.
place where you name a star after, you know?
Queen guitarist Brian May told a gathering of 1,200 fans in Switzerland that the asteroid would now be known as asteroid 17473, Freddie Mercury. One word, Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
That's insane.
All right.
Anyway. Wow. Also deaths today. Oh, I'm sorry. You had any more birthdays?
Nope.
Mother
John Wall.
Okay. Mother Teresa today for deaths.
Yep.
And that's the only notable.
That was the only one I saw too.
Yeah.
So.
As far as national days, National Food Bank Day.
We can roll with that. There's really no reason to bring anybody else into the equation here. Food Bank Day gets it. That definitely gets it done.
What else?
I had frozen internet.
St.
I've
Teresa
got
Canonization Day in Albania.
That works. I had National Cheese Pizza Day. So let's go back to the food bank there.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. It's 8:14 at Talk 107.3 FM. We're running a little bit behind. Quick break. Come back. Ken Trahan's next. Yo. Hey.
Hi.
Write this down.
All right. Mike's back. Hi, good morning, sir. Hi, this is JP. Brian Haldane? With Brian Haldane? Is this Mr. Ken? Okay, yes, sir. Yeah, looking to have you on here in just a few minutes. Okay.
Let him know. I got to knock out a live read right in front of him, though. It's going to be a second of.
Okay.
The intro's going to be a second.
Brian has to knock out a live read real quick before he gets to you, but yeah. Okay, not a problem. Thank you. Whoa. Yeah, according to onthisday.com, it's Matt, it's beards. It's a beard tax. Russian Tsar Peter the Great imposed a tax on beards. And
Yeah,
beards, bards.
you didn't hear the joke though.
What? Oh, Matt was asking beards or bards?
No, I said beards is in facial hair or as a woman who dates a gay guy.
I didn't even hear that. What was that? I was in my own head at that moment. Hey, you know what? Look, I'm just gonna share with you guys because I love you all. So I was going through my Facebook memories, and had a comment that did not age well with one of my friends. Let's see. Yeah, I was going back in and he had left a comment on something. I'm like, man, you're the man. Only to find out that he transitioned, and apparently we're not friends anymore.
Because
a couple years ago, like 5 years ago, I commented
Because
like,
you
"You're the man."
misgendered him?
Just like, "You're the man." No, he was a Luke, and now he's a Cass. So I don't know. I'm just saying,
Well, that is a transition.
man. Just saying. Wow.
She hot? Dang. 818 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Matthew says on Twitter, @Brian, we love high school ball because it's pure. A kid who may play on Sundays is blocking for a kid who's going to be a successful insurance agent, and Scoutmaster to make a throw to a kid who's going to work his way up a management job at a manufacturing plant. It's so right. That is so right. Matthew's on point. And it's about community, not unlike Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com. Whether you're talking about your personal banking or business banking, LandmarkBankLA.com. Landmark Bank has been a community bank since 1897, since before there was high school football. Landmark Bank has been around. So if you're a Zachary Bronco or a Bruley Panther or a Denham Springs Yellow Jacket, you've got a Landmark Bank in your community. Want to learn about all their locations? Visit LandmarkBankLA.com. It is that example of community. And we want to celebrate it to its extent, to its hilt, which is why starting tonight, Ken Trahan's original prep football report will be right here on Talk 107.3 FM. The full 5-hour slate, 6 to 11 p.m. Ken's on with us now. How are you, man?
Hey, Brian, ready to roll. Thanks for having me.
No, glad to have you on here. Glad to be diving into this world with you. I cannot contain my excitement for what's coming up tonight. Tell for those that are unfamiliar with the show, tell everybody about it.
Yeah, it's a dizzying process to say the least. 31 years running, and you're going to get everything. We've got reporters at 54 games throughout the state, including a whole bunch of games in the Baton Rouge area, like Brother Martin East Ascension, De La Salle Central, Trahan Catholic, Dunham Parkview Baptist, John F. Kennedy, Scotlandville, Kentwood East Feliciana, Madison Prep Dutchtown, Plaquemine and Zachary, St. Paul's Live Oak. I could go on and on, right? But we have people fanned out everywhere. We coordinate about 250, 300 people every Friday night and produce 5 hours. We have a school night every Friday night. Tonight, St. Charles Catholic night. We'll have their coach on with us. But throughout the show, they're going to get score updates, live reports from these games. They're going to get scoreboard updates frequently from CrescentCitySports.com. We have a few winning coaches on after the games, and then we have analysis from all over the state in the 10 o'clock hour in every sector of the state. So it's totally encompassing. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's a beast, but it's a labor of love. High school football, you nailed it. High school football is the last unadulterated sport we have, and high school athletics for that matter. So I'm right there with you.
Absolutely. We're talking with Ken Trahan, who we'll be carrying his show starting tonight. You've been at this for 31 years. The speed and the pace of it has never slowed down, but the level of coverage has increased. Ken, how have you stayed, like, I don't want to say a step ahead of the game, but like it's been a step ahead of the game the whole time? Just the technology to feed the beast is just wonderful at this point.
We conceived this, we started this process. We started this show in 1995, but I actually did this as early as 1982, where I sent people out to like 7 or 8 games and did a live radio show and so forth. And that's what kind of was the genesis of this. And then, of course, when the opportunity arose to create something bigger, I jumped at it. And there were scoffers. People felt like, people aren't going to listen to that. It's high school football. They're interested in LSU. They're interested in the Saints. They're interested in Tulane, whatever the case may be. And my response to that was, you're grossly underestimating the audience. I mean, high school is very core. It's families, it's friends, it's relatives, it's everything imaginable that pay attention to it. So with that in mind, we launched it, and of course, sponsors followed, and so did an audience. And here we are, 31 years later. So, and look, a lot of other people have done this, and that's great because we like to think we were at the forefront of a lot of this. And the same was true in television with Steve Schneider in Baton Rouge and Ed Daniels in New Orleans. And they showed in television that this could be done. And of course, many others have followed suit in that regard as well.
Well, and before you get to the television, though, you're going to and from the game. You're sitting in the stands at the game. All of these places, the radio is readily available to you, making it the perfect venue.
It is, because you're going to get the live updates. What do people want to hear? They want to know the time remaining, the quarter, and the score. You can't assume people are going to listen for 5 hours. They're going to tune in for a period of time. So when you come on, and I stress that to all of our reporters, time remaining, quarter, score. Make sure you get that pertinent information, and that's why people are listening. They want to know the score. They want to know what quarter it is, what the details are, at least briefly, and move on. And we do that. And it's fast-paced guitar. When you listen to it, it's insanity in terms of getting in 50 reports an hour, which is not an easy task, but we have great people working with us that have done it for quite some time. And we just get it done. It's rat-a-tat-tat, and it's fast in its format, and it keeps moving. And typically speaking, people really enjoy it. And the reaction we've gotten for so many years is great. We've gotten 2 national awards for this, and we've gotten statewide awards and local awards, and that's all fine and good, but we don't do it for that. We do it because it's a great service, and we have passion for it.
We're talking with Ken Trahan, who you will hear tonight on Talk 107.3 FM from 6 to 11 p.m. for Ken Trahan's original prep football report. Ken, I want you to walk down this path with me real quick. It's different in Louisiana, because in Louisiana, when you ask somebody where they went to school, they don't tell you their college, they'll tell you their high school. Can they replicate that? Can this be replicated in other states? Because I've always felt like high school football here, look, Texas is its own thing, but that connection here makes what we do a little bit different than everybody else in the country.
There's an unbelievable sense of belonging and pride to where you went to school. It's pretty funny. We actually had shirts made for this show several years ago. Where'd you go to school? And that was the whole concept of it, because I'll respond, and I speak all over the place. I've been at speaking engagements the last 2 nights at 2 different schools. I got several others coming up. And I remember once when, they were doing a bio and everything else, and I got up and started and said, look, I value the education and such, and, got into communications at Loyola University. Next thing you know, somebody's yelling out, no, where'd you go to high school? Right. Okay, Archbishop Brummel, there you go. So as a result, look, I learned that a long time ago, and there's an incredible sense of belonging and pride that exists with everyone in this state. And, of course, high school football, you mentioned Texas. Louisiana, per capita, it's number one in terms of the number of outstanding players it produces on the professional level. Not the numbers, per se, of California or Texas, but right. Per capita, absolutely. There's such a passion for this. And we know that people, and of course, LSU baseball is elite. Jay got a phenomenal contract yesterday, and he's a great friend, and all of that. And basketball, of course, when good, people are interested. But this is a football state. It always has been. It always will be. And that pertains to the high school level as well, with all due respect to all of the sports, which we cover not only on radio, but through our website at CrescentCitySports.com. So, yes, it's amazing to understand the loyalty to school brand. And it's also amazing to see the loyalty to football that exists in this state at every level.
You said you went to Rommel?
Sure did.
My dad was second graduating class of Rommel. He opened that bad boy up.
1966 was the first graduating class, I think, and 67 was the second one. So,
yep.
If I recall correctly. So,
you absolutely do. We're talking with Ken Trahan for just another couple minutes here. Now, within Louisiana, it varies from where you are in the state, and being able to pull all those reports from all over the state really adds to the overall environment of your show. Talk to me a little bit about how football is different and yet the same wherever you are in Louisiana.
Yeah, I think, look, schemes, everything comes and goes, right? It's like the flavor of the day. For the 70s, you had the wishbone. Then you had the veer. Then you had the run and shoot. Then you had the spread. Then you have, a hybrid version of both. And everything eventually comes back to something else. There was something called single wing back in the 60s. And all that is is what we call Wildcat today. So it's very similar in that regard. But the way the game has evolved is fun to watch because I've always said that the best coaches are those that don't try to fit a square peg into a round hole. A coach should always adapt to his talent rather than trying to make the talent adapt to his coaching. And we see evidence of this all the time with the ones that are successful and the ones that are not. And it's pretty easy to spot as well. Look, we're watching LSU right now, and we saw the way Harold Perkins was utilized last week. Well, that's what everybody wanted to see, right? That's what we thought we saw a couple of years back. And then all of a sudden he's a middle linebacker and invisible, and then he's hurt. And now you're playing with a star position, and now you're allowing him to roam. I really equate that to back in the day, Trahan Matthew, if you recall the Honey Badger. He line him up and let him move around and let him read things and react because that's what he's really good at. Well, Perkins is a superior athlete, and that play he made on fourth down against Klubnik was unbelievable because Klubnik had broken contain, but a superior athlete ran him down. So schematically, things have changed. At the core of the game, though, it hasn't changed in this sense. If you're better up front, you're going to win the game. And that's pretty much football in a nutshell.
You say you don't want to, the coach can't fit a square peg into a round hole. I guess J.T. Curtis would be the exception to that.
But they have a system and the type of players, and they have a lower school, guys. So what happens is they really start on that at a young age.
Or they build round pegs, yeah.
Yeah, so as a result, when they get to the high school level, they're not only prepared, but they fit the system very well. And now, have there had kids that have left? Yeah, some have left after seventh grade to go to other schools. Because, for instance, in the past, if you had a quarterback that was more of a pro-style quarterback and he was there and wanted to be that type of guy, then he's not going to stay there. And that's happened previously. But by and large, they develop in that fashion. And once they get them to the high school level, they feel very comfortable with the system. So it's a little bit different there because they have a lower school as compared to most high schools start in ninth grade, and that's where you have the system implemented, and you either fit it or you don't. So it's a little bit different in that regard.
Or you could be a complete freak show like Malachi Dupree and survive with the offense being the veer, and you're still a worldwide receiver. So,
they actually throw the ball more now, and they'll throw it upwards of 15 times a game, sometimes less, sometimes more, but they've evolved. But at the end of every game is this: if you're better up front and you can beat somebody physically, just run the football and win the game. And that's, I think, the philosophy of most people. It's kind of come back to that. We went through that period of time where people were throwing it all over the place, and even on the high school level, you're seeing 30 to 40 passes a game in a lot of different instances. You're not seeing that as much anymore. You're seeing more pro-style offenses and more people that are running the football and running it successfully. So, as I mentioned before, I do think things evolve, but yet at some point in time, they come back. It's just like fashion, clothing, right? What was popular in the 70s disappeared in the 80s, and now all of a sudden, oh, look at this. Hey, I think I saw something like that 50 years ago. It's all good.
Got 2 minutes left with Ken Trahan, host of Ken Trahan's original Prep Football Report, which you will hear tonight at 6 on Talk 107.3 FM. Give me one or two matchups. Who are you most looking forward to seeing and or reporting on tonight?
Yeah, there's two. There's a matchup of defending state champions tonight, Archbishop Shaw and Edna Carr. Shaw won the Division II Select Championship. Carr won the Division I Select Championship. And Carr, by every measure, was the best team in Louisiana last year in any class. So anytime you have a matchup with defending state champions in week one, that's pretty cool. So I think that one certainly holds up. But, of course, you got one with Trahan and Catholic. That's tremendous in that marketplace. And I know Sister Station's involved in that too. So with regard to that game, look, you've got skill all over the place with Trahan. You got a Division I quarterback. You got an LSU wide receiver. You got a Division I running back. You got another wide receiver that's a Division I player, a defensive back that's a Division I player. And then there's Catholic. And all Catholic does every year is produce players and win, and Hudson does a great job. So, yeah, I think those two matchups really, more than any others, stand out to me. I mean, there's others, but those are two that unquestionably are the best matchups I've seen. Look, you had one last night that was fantastic, Neville and Evangel Christian. Neville won the game 33-32, by the way. An unbelievable game last night, which I knew was going to be that because Evangel is close to being back to what Evangel was several years ago. And, of course, Neville's an elite program. So from a statewide perspective, that was a very special game. There's one more tonight, too, that's really good in North Louisiana, North DeSoto and Union Parish. Two teams that have been in the Dome previously, most recently. They're both really good. and they're squaring off in week 1. So you're going to find out a lot about some of these top-level programs. Last one I'll mention is my alma mater, Archbishop Rummel's playing at Lafayette Christian, and we know what LCA's been
Yep.
in recent years. They got a ton of skill. They played like a 45-38 game last year here that Rummel won, and I expect it'll be another great game in Lafayette tonight.
He is Ken Trahan, picking it up at 6 o'clock tonight. Happy to be on board with the show, Ken. Looking forward to it, man. Thanks so much.
It's my pleasure, and it's great to have 107.3 with us. Thank you, gentlemen.
Always, always. We're running late here. Local news, traffic, weather. We'll talk LSU football with Charles Hanagriff next. I didn't realize St. Paul's was going to be in Denham tonight. I might have to head out to Highway 16. I mean, Live Oak is so far away, they might as well be home. You know, I'm just as soon drive to Covington. We're calling him. Two 225. Five-star, and I forgot it's Danny Palin's birthday. Yeah. What'd he say? Hanny. Rolling over to 8:38 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Going to get to Charles Hanagriff in exactly 60 seconds. Do need to remind you about the folks over at 5 Star Printing and Signs. 271-4096 is the phone number. Printshop5.com is, JP. Printshop5.com is the website. You know what?
What?
We missed one in birthdays today because it's Danny's birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Danny. If you call 271-4096, just wish Danny a happy birthday, and then order a whole bunch of
there we go.
Order a whole bunch of mugs with your company's logo on it. By the way, if you visit printshop5.com, merchandise and branding is so important right now. Being top of mind all the time is unbelievably important right now. That's why I tell you about printshop5.com, because Danny and his team over 5 Star Printing and Signs, they can print up anything. You want to talk about printing out, let's see, the tote bags, backpacks. They'll put your brand on calendars. They'll put your brand on ball caps. They'll put your brand on, like I said, on a coffee mug. Who doesn't have I don't want to name this is an Arctic or a Yeti or whatever, but when you have that thermal mug right there, you bring it with you everywhere. Why not make sure your business is top of mind as well with printshop5.com, or just call 271-4096 and tell Danny happy birthday. I'm sure he would be happy to hear from you.
Yes, indeed.
They do phenomenal work over there, making sure that your first impression, say your business card is your first impression is the right one. Let's say when you're in a restaurant, that menu, what impression does that make? Yeah, Danny does all that stuff. Yard signs, political signs, banners, 271-4096. And don't forget to wish Danny a happy birthday when you call. All right, Charles Hanagriff's on the hotline right now, co-host of Live at Lunch, which, by the way, coming your way at 10 o'clock this morning because it is a football Friday on our sister station 104.5 ESPN. He'll be broadcasted live from Ruffino's, but he's on with us right now. Charles, how are you?
Doing great, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you on this morning. Okay, let's talk Tigers. I know you did the film breakdown after the Clemson game. What did you learn in week one?
That LSU defensively can put a lot of pressure on you, that they've got a lot of depth up front, that they've got two outstanding linebackers that can help you in pass coverage but also help you rushing the passer, that they are much, much improved in the secondary. You didn't see players running free. Even the passes that Clemson completed were mostly contested, that the offensive line's probably better than we thought. It's a remade offensive line, but they were practicing against what we now know is a really good defensive front in August. And so some of those struggles can be attributed to that. And there's not a quarterback in the country that I would trade Garrett Nussmeier for, but I knew that before the game, I guess, so maybe I'm cheating a little bit there.
I'm going to ask you a question that's going to sound preposterous heading into week two. Is Garrett Nussmeier going to leave LSU a better quarterback than Joe Burrow?
Oh, that would be a tall order. I can't say that. There will be times, it appears to me right now, and I could look really foolish by the end of this season. I don't think that Garrett Nussmeier is going to be asked to throw 60 touchdown passes this year. Okay, if you look at what the game plan called for the other night, and Brian Kelly alluded to this on the coaches show last night. He says, there were times where we could take a one-on-one shot, but we were in a close game with, it was a defensive-minded game, and it behooved us to control the clock, check it down, take some safer plays, keep possession of the ball. LSU got in some shootouts in 2019. They play 6 more ranked opponents in the last 11 games of the season. This is probably not the last one-score game they're going to be in. Right. So I don't know that Garrett Nussmeier is going to be asked to throw 60 touchdown passes for LSU to win a championship. So I'm going to say no as far as the stats go.
Okay. All right. Hey, so if I could put your two answers together, the defense might actually prevent Garrett Nussmeier from being everything statistically he could be.
Well, it's winning football.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, if the other night LSU's run game had been stymied and Nussmeier would have had to put the ball up 40 times, he's capable of doing that. But, boy, isn't it nice to be able to turn around and hand the ball off and make 5 yards and keep the clock running and keep your defense off the field so they can be fresh in the fourth quarter. It's complementary football. I mean, you remember some of those games that LSU got in 2019. Man, they needed all 46 to beat Alabama. Right. Ole Miss scored 38 or something like that, and LSU had to score 50 that night. Frankly, I don't expect a lot of games like that this year.
We're talking with Charles Hanagriff, co-host of Live at Lunch. I asked the question, Charles, because if he can, complete 70% of his passes, 72% of his passes for 230 yards against a top 10 team, then you go out and if he can be consistent, he can go out on a game like tomorrow and possibly put up like a, closer to 400. And then at the end of the season, it all averages out and he could get close.
Well, now, understand when you say better quarterback, I was talking just straight statistics.
Yeah.
Can Garrett Nussmeier win the Heisman? Yes. Can he be the number one pick in the draft? Yes. Can LSU win a national championship? Yes. Do I expect him to throw 60 touchdown passes the way Burrow did in 19? No, I don't.
No, and 60's excessive to say the least. But when it comes to the yardage and when you add in the way the playoff format is, if LSU ends up being national champion, he's going to have more games under his belt as well. So I don't know. I'd say just one of the things that I'm looking at the beginning of the season. The other thing that I'm looking at is it possible to spread the wealth evenly with our receivers?
Yeah, and it depends on what you're being given on the other side. They have to choose to take away one thing. You can't take away everything. One of the questions we got was, why didn't LSU throw the ball down the field more? Where was Chris Hilton? Where was Nick Anderson? Well, Clemson spent about 90% of the game in a too-high safety look, which takes away that deep pass. One of the few times they went to one safety, LSU threw the ball over their head to Barry and Brown for what looked like to be a touchdown. Of course, was overturned. Every team's not going to play LSU like that. There was another play, the touchdown of Trey Green. LSU puts 4 receivers to one side and Green by himself to the other side. So Clemson chose to play Green one-on-one. And that meant that the read was there because Green had half a foot on the kid that was covering him. Mm-hmm. But another team might choose to double-team Green. Well, that means that you've got numbers on the other side, and somebody else might get an opportunity there. So when you have a quarterback that can properly read what the defense's weaknesses are, then you can spread the wealth.
What are you looking forward to most tomorrow from a week 1 to week 2 perspective?
There's going to be a natural letdown as far as, look, they've been building toward this Clemson game for 6 months, okay? They can't possibly maintain that level of expectation, that level of, intensity that they would have had last week. And for the opponent that they're a 38-point favorite over. But it's the home opener, so I expect motions to be high. I don't think that they will be flat. They could be a little bit sloppy. But I expect LSU to take control of this game. Louisiana Tech beat Southeastern last week. There's another team LSU see here in 2 weeks, 24-0. That score was deceiving. Southeastern turned the ball over 3 times, 2 more times on downs. All of those were in Louisiana Tech territory. So the Lions moved the ball on Louisiana Tech, and I expect that LSU will do a lot of that. Now I'm expecting a big win.
36.5-point favorite. I mean, that's a 5-touchdown plus win.
Yeah, and I don't. When the spreads get up that high, generally I lose interest in the wagering angle of this thing because 38 points is, you're at the end of the game and let's say this score is 44-7 with 2 minutes left. Does Louisiana Tech take a knee and head to the bus, or do they try to score that last touchdown, or does LSU try to score one more when they're up 5 scores? I don't know. So I leave that stuff alone when the spreads are this big.
You mentioned a little bit about Southeastern moving the ball against Louisiana Tech. What can we expect from Louisiana Tech? What do they bring?
Well, in game 1, they struggled to throw the football. They didn't throw it a lot. They ran the ball okay against Southeastern, but this has been a rough go for Sonny Cumbie. Since COVID, Louisiana Tech has really fallen a little bit on hard times. This was a really, really strong program through a lot of the 2000s and before that as well. And since COVID, 3-9, 5-8. They won the first game last week. They think they've got a better group this year, but whether it be NIL or the transfer portal or whatever, this just hasn't been as strong a program as it was in the past since COVID. So I'm expecting a big LSU win.
Likewise, as am I, and I think basically everybody is. The next question, Charles, and we'll get you out of here right after that. The next question is, week to week, if the mantra was 1-0, now the mantra is 2-0. Week to week, what does LSU need to do to maintain like consistency? Because it feels like consistency is the only variable in the equation we don't know the answer to yet.
Well, I think the exciting part, Brian, is that there are places that they can get better, right?
Right.
When we did the film study, the offensive line held up really well, but there were still some miscommunications there that have to do with players playing with each other for the first time, that those things can be cleaned up. We talked about the vertical passing game. I think that will be something that will improve. There are freshmen that are really precocious talents that are just starting to play a little bit. DJ Pickett played 24 snaps the other night and looked like Deion Sanders at times in his coverage. He's going to get better, scary as that is. Harlem Berry only had one carry the other night. I was reminded of Justin Vincent's freshman year, where the first time they played Georgia, he didn't carry the ball at all. And the second time they played Georgia, he was the MVP of the SEC championship game. Harlem Berry is going to get better. Carius Kern is going to play some on the offensive line. He didn't play a week ago. So that's the exciting part, is that as well as they played, there's some upside here.
He is Charles Hanagriff. You'll catch live at lunch. Actually, it's a football Friday, so you'll catch live at lunch, coming live from Rufino's at 10 o'clock this morning. Charles, we always appreciate the time, brother.
Anytime, Brian.
Talk to you soon. Coming up on 8:49 at Talk 107. Oh, sorry, we're almost 8:50 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Want to remind you one more time that Talk 107.3, along with First American Bank and Trust, are teaming up to honor our military and raise funds for Folds of Honor. This nonprofit organization provides scholarships to the spouses and children of soldiers who were killed or disabled in service. To donate to this important cause, visit our website at talk1073.com. Folds of Honor, to honor their sacrifice and educate their legacy. It's 8:50. Here's your money now. Oh. 36.5-point favorite. I can't pull the trigger on that. Did you play early in the morning already? Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I'm always down for a little gap band. We started off with whatchamadiddle. Yeah. Which is not, that's Daz Band. Yeah. Same genre. Yeah. Do what? Yeah.
That's what it was.
I love that whole genre, though. You can be that all day long.
That's what I'm talking about. Funny, I was listening on the way in. That's no telling. That's telling what I'll be listening to on the way in here. Be something cool like that.
Oh, yeah. Yes, 7, 8, 9.
Got it.
All right, this is that extended mix right there. 8:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. About to get out of here and hand it off to Moon Griffon and the Moon Griffon Show. Oh, man, been a busy show today. I know we're football heavy this hour. I realize that. I realize there's a lot of sports throughout. But looking back over, man, the conversation with Walt Leger about Live Golf coming to New Orleans has me a little bit fired up. The conversation with Patty G about, like, there's an overriding theme every time he's on. And it's kind of lending into the Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 thing. And in order for that to be a success, this was a part of the topic was, in order for that to be a success, we have to not put the cart before the horse. And the horse is jobs. And the cart is literally everything else. Good stuff, though. It's all available on demand at talk1073.com. All the individual interviews are available on demand at talk1073.com, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. We got to hit the outside in before we get out of here, so let's go ahead and do that now. So we are going to take you for the outside in today up to Washington, D.C. You heard the news story there from our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network, grabbing audio from Senator John Kennedy, talking about a stark warning about eating imported shrimp. He was on the Senate floor, and, he was using a visual aid.
This is a photograph of the alien from the movie Alien. This is what you could end up looking like if you eat some of the raw, frozen shrimp being sent to the United States by other countries.
So ridiculous. I love it. Kennedy said that's because the imported shrimp was found to be radioactive.
It had a
hang on. It said, no, there was imported shrimp that was radioactive. The shrimp were sold at Walmart stores here in Louisiana. I want to pause right there to say, buy your shrimp local, please. Please buy local shrimp locally. It's so disheartening. And they were sold at Walmart stores in Louisiana and other states that had been recalled.
It had a radioactive isotope in it called cesium-137. It'll kill you. Even if it doesn't turn you into the alien if you eat this stuff, I guarantee you'll grow an extra ear.
He guarantees that, by the way. The extra ear is guaranteed. Kennedy said on a good day, the U.S. might inspect 2% of all shrimp that's imported into the country, and that pales in comparison to the inspection rates of other countries.
The United Kingdom inspects 50% of the foreign seafood coming into its nation. Even China does a better job than the United States of America.
It really is amazing the amount of push that we've heard from Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain, from Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, from Governor Jeff Landry, and now from U.S. Senator John Kennedy. That level of push to make sure we're inspecting more, to make sure we're rooting out all the radioactive shrimp. Like, what kind of Marvel Universe BS do you have to deal with to have radioactive shrimp? That's how you end up with a comic book character. That's how you end up with, like, the Rougarou come to life.
Toxic Avenger.
So, I know. Swamp Thing.
That's it.
He ate some radioactive shrimp, him. Buy local. Moon's next.
I got that from the shrimp factory, bro.
That's how you become. As you become. Do I do it? You become man. That's how you become Ed. That's how Head Ogeron becomes a superhero.
Ooh,
we coming. And we ain't backing down. We eating radioactive shrimp.
Feeding them boys radioactive shrimp.
I mean, it's a bad recipe, y'all.
Oof.
No pun intended. I try to intend my puns. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna have to decide if I'm heading out to heading up Highway 16 tonight. I don't think I'm a totally be a high school girl about this. I gotta see if my friends are going. I'm gonna put it out there to my fellow St. Paul alumni, and say who's going to Denham. If anybody else is going there, if we could rock some blue and gold. Actually, Live Oak is blue and gold. We're the same colors as Live Oak. So, I don't know. Holy hell. We'll see y'all next week.
Later.